Hello, everybody. Welcome to session 0 of Storm King's Thunder. We are the five-sided die, or RollD5ive.
Heyo.
Wait, what is this?
I don't know, just zero. Session 0, dog.
Session 0.
Gosh, get with
So
the
do we
program.
do this next time?
Absolutely.
Yes, and we'll keep doing it. That'll be our shtick every time.
I like
4,
it.
5. But yes, we've got Chris and Joe and JD and Eric and myself. We are going to run through session 0 as we would normally do, and then we are going to do a little bit of a town builder, which is a version of A Quiet Place, a pared down version of A Quiet Place, where there was town building and such. But we're going to start with Storm King's Thunder. We'll start with the rules. So this is D&D 5e. That's what we're going to do. It'll be mostly what you guys are used to as far as run like normal sessions, kind of a mix of everything. I'm not going to be worried about like rations, survival aspects as much, similar to how Eric does it. So
Yep.
We're not going to be like, how much water do you have for this trip and stuff like that.
I've got 3 water skins. I need to buy 5 more.
Right. But it'll be similar in tone too. So light with humor and some serious parts maybe. But as far as rules is written, it'll be, because the 2024 version of 5e is not out, it will be 95% normal 5e 2014. Rules as written for the most part. I will do death saves in secret.
Yes.
If everyone's into that. So
we'll
do that same thing.
Yep.
One thing that we were kind of doing, I think, is potions will be a bonus action. So we'll keep with that. We will do up to 3 inspiration points. So I want to give out inspiration a little bit more free, but not just a cap on 1, so we can have up to 3.
Cool.
And we can use it kind of like traditional inspiration, or if there's like a reverse inspiration against the DM or against the bad guy, that's fine too.
So almost like a silvery barbs, right?
Yeah. Situational, but if you can think of, I think the rule of cool will also dominate. So if it doesn't change mechanics, but it's cool, or it's a little bit of tweak on the rule, but you can sell it really in a cool way, then I'm definitely down for that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And how do we feel? I loved Eric's idea in our last campaign, the DM inspiration, or if we feel very motivated by something you did, we can give you an inspiration to sort of do the same thing to make us
to better bone us.
Yeah. Is this an explicit show?
Or if there's a narrative,
I haven't gotten to that
narrative
point.
thing you want to have happen, maybe
like a break a bone.
Yeah. But I think that's a thing.
I'm good with that if you guys are.
Yeah. It is. I think it's kind of hard to implement in practicality because we almost have to come to an agreement to then give it to you. But I mean, absolutely, if it comes up,
Cool.
Sweet. We can do that. So we may take some from 2024 5e, and after it gets released, we could potentially transition into it if we all agree to do that.
We can feel it out.
So another thing, I would like to make sure that we kind of speak like we're doing this for just audio or audio visual. So describing where your character is going. If we do bring up Owlbear, instead of saying I move here, say describe it a little bit more.
Fair.
If this ever becomes a podcast,
that'll be a hard habit to break. But yes, that is a good point to make.
Right. So just more descriptive.
Our listener will appreciate it.
Yes, our wives and moms and parents. One thing I wanted to kind of see if we could do, and maybe this is pie in the sky, but I really want to try and see if we can stay immersed when we're role playing. Try to talk as the character for the most part, explaining what you want to do, and then I'll ask for a roll if necessary. So instead of saying, "Hey, can I investigate?" say, I want to look around and blah blah blah, and then I'll say, "Okay, make an investigation check."
Yeah, gotcha.
Just an attempt to stay as immersed as possible, and less outside of the table talk if possible, or above the table talk if possible. But and I would say just do your best to only know what your character knows. Obviously, you know what a beholder is, but if your character wouldn't know, don't be like, "Oh, is that a beholder?" No, or you wouldn't know what it was, right? So just kind of try and think like that,
like your character would. Yes.
Yeah, think it like your character. Makes sense.
I do want to make it maybe a little more fast-paced in a way where, like, if we're trying to do something, I'm going to try and do less rolls. So more reasonable. If you're capable adventurers and you're trying to climb a wall and there's no time constraint, then I'm not going to have you roll for it. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
I'll try and do that as much as possible, or as little as possible, so that we can just keep things moving.
Mm-hmm.
So my first question for you all. When it comes to the 3 pillars, do you want more or less of anything? I know travel is typically the one that people crap on, if you will, but I have some ideas for making it more interesting. But do you care? Do you want more role play, more combat, less of one thing, or is it kind of just whatever?
Just depends on the given day. You know, any too much of one of them becomes a little bit of a drag.
Right. So a mix, basically.
Yeah, just a healthy mix, because it feels good sometimes to not have to rely on combat heavy mechanics, you know. But then also it feels good to get into a big fight and have that drag on for some time.
So. Right.
Yeah. I think too we can be open, like kind of how we did in the last campaign we played when JD was, which I can't think of the name of right
Lost
now
Mines?
for some reason. Thank you.
Lost Mine of Fandelver, yeah.
It's like the easiest one to remember. Where we were kind of like, we want to get there right now, as opposed to, role playing it. Like, I know that you thought about it, but do you mind if we just get there? And it's like, yep, not a problem. So I think if we can just be open about it, we'll kind of
definitely be open. If I'm like, you might want to take the trip. Something worth exploring, but
you might want to go back for the fair.
Yeah,
right. You might. Dang it!
Oh, the fair.
We missed out on some cool stuff.
So much promise.
Oh man. Cool. All right. Healthy mix. I think we'll feel it out as we run through sessions. I want to feel meaty enough that I'm like we're getting enough story, but also not dragging through things if we don't have to be. I think, I'll try and brush up as best I can on all the rules and everything so that we can make quick rulings. I'd rather do a quick ruling that's maybe not exactly correct and fix it later.
Yes.
Than delay to try and find something that maybe won't even have an outcome on what we're doing. So I'll kind of go that, but we're going to try and go rules as written as much as possible. All right. So I would like to institute Elmo, which means enough, let's move on. So if we're talking about something that's uncomfortable or awkward or whatever, text me Elmo, or you can say it and we will move on and I'll push past it. Gotcha. This is an adult. Obviously, we're a group of adults, so there'll be adult type themes, but I'm not going to talk about like rape or sexual assault or anything like that. Like, that's not something that we'll do. If there's like, we could potentially do like, what is it called? Like the veil, where like, what's going to happen, but we don't act it out. Just like the screen fades to black.
So quick question for you, Brad.
Totally.
So the tone of this campaign, is it like a little bit darker like that, or you're just saying examples?
No. Okay. No, I'm just saying, like, if we get into some role play shenanigans and then it turns into something and it's like, all right, this is a little
weird, I get what you're saying.
Let's just move on. Yes. I doubt we'll ever even do it since we all know each other really well, but just wanted to give everyone a quick like, hey, can we move on? And then
our viewers are gonna flood the chat now with Elmo.
Especially if we're dragging on with a conversation or something.
They're just bored by something. Elmo. No, I think that's a really cool thing just to know in case, for whatever reason, we're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, I'll talk about the setting and the lore a little bit here in just a second, but it is more lighthearted. Like, it's like Rhyme, so there's going to be some oh shit stuff, but there's also going to be some room for shenanigans. So
awesome.
Is there anything else anyone wants to avoid or put on the off limits list that we can think of?
Joe's chair. I'd like to.
Joe's chair will be off limits.
First of all, how dare you?
Oh, that was a good one.
That was
Yeesh.
No.
All
But
right.
I'd like to keep it on the list. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so let's talk about the setting. It's in the Forgotten Realms. Can be all over, but most of the action will be in the Savage Frontier, which is in the northwest corner of the continent of Faerun. So the northwest corner includes like the 10 towns. So we already know that. I'm going to read directly from the book about the background section. So the Savage Frontier is a cold, rugged, sparsely populated land of snow-capped mountains, rocky hills, sprawling forests, and foggy vales. Isolated strongholds, ancient burial mounds, and the ruins of many forgotten empires dot this vast landscape. Bounded by the Sea of Swords to the west and the desert of Anauroch to the east, the Savage Frontier extends as far north as Icewind Dale and as far south as Daggerford.
Cool.
Right, yep, that's all I'll read for that part. But that is the area.
Is this like a separate universe then, or are we kind of like, is this happening concurrently with what we're doing in Rime?
So when
like,
I
are
looked,
the 10 towns kind of boned now, or are we...
Right. So when I looked at timeline, like what year, Rime and Storm King had the same date. So you could start them at the same time, but we'll see.
That'd be wild.
Depending on if you go to the 10 towns, if things that happened in a different setting happened.
It'd be funny if we met ourselves and then like Aruk was like, I'm gonna go with them for a while.
For all our sakes, please don't make that happen.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Please do. Please do.
Aruk goes with this group. Chris's other character goes with. Oh gosh.
God, epic collab. Oh.
No, that gives me a little bit of
fun
heartburn. First time DMing, as a reminder. But yeah, so that's kind of where it is, kind of when it is. It's around the same time. I'll get into the lore in a second, but one thing I did want to do, the factions in the north are very prominent in this campaign. So I'm going to read you a quick synopsis of each one, just so you understand, because my thought or hope is that one of you would potentially be a part of one of the factions, which can help you get more information or whatever, or at least be closely affiliated with them. We already know some of the details either from Baldur's Gate or from our other campaign. So when I say the Harpers, obviously you know what they are. They're secret do-gooders is what I put as my little blurb about them. The Lord's Alliance, you can think of that as like the King's Guard. They care most about their own town and work with other major settlements to kind of as an alliance. We have the Emerald Conclave, wilderness survivalists, peacekeepers between nature and civilization. So druids, if you want to think about it like that. The Order of the Gauntlets is Knights for Justice. So stereotypical paladin crew. And then we have the Zentarim, Shadow Network, Wealth and Power, generally not great. So those are the 5 main factions that you will probably maybe encounter in the campaign, or you may be a part of potentially.
Two things.
Yeah.
One, I'm sorry. What was the last one?
The Zentarim.
Oh, Zentarim. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, just for like, since we're talking, I'm sorry, I'm typing that out. I can't say sorry. Since I know in Eric's kind of
this campaign,
I lose inspiration every time.
Right.
Ooh, that'd be a great rule.
That would be a good rule. Because I know like Eric has us roll to see if our characters know. Do we, just so we're clear, like you said, we already know a lot of these. Will our characters be familiar with all of the factions, or how do you want to handle
potentially not? So I want to use, so between this and the lore I'm about to give you and the information about giants, this is for you guys to understand the world. Your characters might not understand those things.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Like when we're talking about like the history of Faerun, you probably have an idea when you were growing up hearing stories about the dragons who tried to destroy, to take over the north or whatever. But in general, your characters probably don't know any of the details that I'm going to give you, but broad strokes, yes, probably. Just like we know about general history, I think it'd be something similar.
Well, debatable in this country.
Well, yeah. So, so those are the main
Well, there
factions.
goes half our viewers.
Elmo.
The other half are super into us.
Elmo.
Actually, that brings me to another point. Please leave real world politics and other things outside
Ah,
of
there you go.
these sessions. And I only say that jokes are great, but if people want to use this as an escape away from the real world, I don't want to bring it back in. So
Valid point is valid.
I enjoy the jokes, but yeah, if it's used as entertainment, as an escape, then let's leave it that way. In-game politics all day. If there's a character that's similar to someone in real, no, we're not doing that. Never mind. So those are the factions. A little bit of lore, and this is what I was talking about, like broad strokes. You might know this as like legend or as like growing up. So Tiamat led dragons to conquer the Savage Frontier. Huge threat, but got driven back. Tiamat is now banished to the Nine Hells. No longer a pressing threat in the world. Almost forgotten, honestly. But you know, there's some questions. Did the giants fight against the dragons, or did they come after the dragons? Giants are a pain, but they're not a major threat to small folk. You could mainly your characters would mainly be aware of hill giants as they scavenge for food, and you'd probably know frost giants as they're like the Vikings or the pillagers. So you've probably heard stories, maybe not firsthand interacted with them, but if you did see or interact with a giant, it's probably a hill giant. So this next bit is about giants, and it's mainly for you guys in case I introduce this later, but giants follow Mott and Mog instead of traditional good versus evil. So Mott is good, but it's like more giant-like. So there's different types of giants, and if you act more like that type of giant, to them you are Mott. And if you act less like that type of giant, you are Mog. So it's not good versus evil. It's what holds truest to their values would be Mott or Mog.
Gotcha.
So
Fire giant acting like a storm giant would be
Mog.
Got it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Super cool.
You eating a lot of food and getting really fat would be Mott to a hill giant. Right. Because that's cool. You refusing to glutton yourself is Mog to them.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
But you're probably generally aware that there's a system called the Ordning. It's basically a ranking system amongst the giants. You don't know who's ranked where or what that even means, but you may have heard of it, and maybe one of your characters will roll to learn more about it. But there are 6 types of giants. I'll go into a little more detail about the ones you might know. So hill giants are like very dumb, love to eat, destroy, like the trolls from The Hobbit. If you think about that, very dumb, obviously very big, but very dumb. Stone giants are more reclusive. They're very rarely seen. So that's all I'll say about them. Frost giants, like I said, you may have heard of them pillaging towns to get stuff and leaving. They're more Viking-like. Fire giants love to forge. That's all I'll say about them. Cloud giants are gaudy, love material things. And then storm giants are aloof and super powerful. You probably know nothing about them.
Nice.
So those are the giants. Any questions about the giants or the lore?
Pretty straightforward so far, I think.
Agreed.
I would suggest that one or two of you take giant as a language.
I did
it. I did already.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
There we go.
I was going to say maybe even more because you may die. And I'll just say,
damn it.
With everything I've said about giants, they're not all evil. They don't always attack on sight, except for hungry hill giants. So best to avoid direct conflict. They will easily kill a lower level party, but some of them are good. They're giant in the way of like Mott and Mog, but they are not all bad. And yeah, so it's not like every giant you see is a threat, is my point. All right, so let's take a break from me talking and let's talk about each one of your characters, if you don't mind. So it'd be great if we just went around in a circle and say what you have so far, maybe ideas you have, maybe ideas for you to kind of be partnered up in some way, or siblings, or friends, or acquaintances.
Right.
Would be cool. But the town that we're going to build the second half of this is where you're all going to start, and we can talk about after we build the town how and why you're there or how long you've been there, but just general character synopsis and kind of ideas. If we want to start collaborating, this would be a good time to do that. So yeah, anyone want to go first?
I will.
Go, Chris, go.
Can we, real quick before you hop in, Eric, do you have everybody's image?
I do, yes.
Could you screen share?
Yeah, and show those as we go.
Yeah, and then
That's fun. Yeah.
Whoever is speaking can give a quick. I know you're gonna say name and everything, but also like describe what you look like too. I think it'll be a nice touch.
I can absolutely do that. Go ahead and get started, Chris, and I'll toss up your character icon in a second.
So, Rokas Surdarax is a Goliath barbarian. And Goliath, the lore behind Goliaths is that they are descendant of giants. And he is descendant specifically of frost giants. Hopefully that were, if this, by the way, like this is all like very gianty lore character. So if it like flies in the face of what we're needing to do, then I can come up with something else. But
I'll say something when you're done. But so
okay.
Go ahead. I think you're good.
Okay. But he worshipped the pantheon of the giants. I can't remember, but it's very similar to Norse mythology, and also he was like a farmer and a fisherman. That was like his trade, and that is Rokas there. But his jarl or some kind of leader figure pulled him into a battle, and he had been in like a couple of minor battles here and there, but nothing major. And he actually, and whether this is true or it's just something he believes, it's not really important to the character or to me, the player. But what he believes happened is he died, and Surtur, the lesser god of fire, actually kept him from going to Jotunheim, which is kind of like Valhalla, and brought him back. And when he woke up, he had various wounds on his body, but he also had major burns over much of his body. So like his right arm, torso, kind of up into his neck, had and it almost looks like a hand as well. That looks like he has these major burn, and now like having it been healed, he has these major burn scars on his kind of right shoulder, torso area. And that is Rokas so far. Does that make any sense?
Very cool. No, yes. So okay. I'll say that doesn't conflict necessarily with anything in the campaign, or it should jive with everything. Okay. As far as giants are concerned, Goliaths are not associated with them at all. Giants are giants, and they have a ranking system, and Goliaths aren't even on there. They're considered small folk. So so I think that's good, but that should be interesting as we go forward. But I love it. Do you have an affiliation with? Have you talked about? I mean, this can be after too. Talked about any affiliation with anyone of the other characters, or the town that we're gonna kind of make?
Yeah, I mean, in general, I like having characters that all know each other. Aren't like, oh, are you trying to screw me over? You know, like I prefer like us just be all cool with each other. But whatever. Okay. Yeah, I don't know their characters. We got a paladin, a wizard, and a sorcerer, so it might make the most sense to me hanging out with a sorcerer. But just because I don't know where I would have met a paladin or a wizard.
True. Right. That's a good point.
Right. All right. Well, yeah, maybe we can meet everybody and then kind of think about ideas for how
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
All right. Next. Thank you, Chris.
Go.
You started. I saw you draw an air, Eric.
I was gonna ask if any one of you wanted to take the lead. So go for it, Jay. Yeah.
Okay. By the way, I'm really creeped out because my camera randomly like zoomed in really hard on me. Like I haven't touched anything, and before it was like everything behind me, and now it's like boom. Sorry. Yeah.
We didn't even notice. So.
Oh,
y'all good.
Okay. So I'm just gonna pull up my D&D Beyond. I told you I was going to use the real world name for a character, Cornelius Vildor, a male dragonborn wizard. I haven't thought a ton about his appearance other than he is a silver dragonborn, and he has like purple eyes. When Eric pulls up the image, you'll be able to see. Yeah, so there's Cornelius Vildor. And so this is what's weird is should I share things like that he doesn't necessarily tell people for the party? You know what I mean? Like if we're gonna stay in character.
Maybe not. I think we're just share what their characters would know, and then
Okay.
And then, of course, if you guys develop something as far as relationships, then you can share more with them.
Okay. But yeah, so Cornelius Vildor, as everyone knows, or as much as people know about him, he is in this frontier town. He's my background is noble, so he's a position of privilege. He's saying he's like has to prove himself to his family to be worthy of their legacy and what comes with being a part of this noble family, whether it be the wealth and things that would eventually pass down to him. So he's sort of almost like a personal pilgrimage or something. I don't know. Just trying to like make a name for himself, gain reputation. What's interesting about Cornelius is even though he's a wizard, I kind of see him and like so one of his specialties is medicine. He's almost like a doctor, but he doesn't think he believes in the gods. Like even though they're actually present, like he's kind of like I don't think like that healing should come from the gods only. Like so he's trying to be like a proper doctor in a way. And so that's kind of how he's starting to make a name for himself. I was thinking is that like people find out that like, yes, this dude can sound kind of haughty at times, but he's actually like down to earth and he wants to help people, but he's also curious. Like he wants to further medicine or science and his trade and apply them and help people that he sees as like the common folk. So he's like that's how I see him. And I feel like that would make it easy for him to meet everyone in the party. And then like Chris's character, Rokas, right? Like maybe he's intrigued by these burns and he wants to like I feel like maybe that's what drew him to him. And he's like, oh man, I want to like investigate what the hell this could have done this. And then especially if he doesn't think he believes in much of the gods, and then Rokas says, "Oh, the fire giant god did this," then he'll be like, this is interesting. So almost like an existential and scientific search. And I told you guys already, but he's kind of beefy. So yes, he's a wizard, but he's not going to shy away from the front line. So I'm not sure if I'm going to multi-class him with fighter if it doesn't seem to be going well or whatever. We'll find out, but I'm kind of mechanically building him like my Baldur's Gate character. So like the spells that he's learning are mostly, and of course some utility spells, but like self-protection and like melee distance spells. So right, like shield, mage armor, burning hands, shocking grasp, things like that. So he does want to get like up close and stuff. If you piss him off, he gets real, like he will not let you live it down kind of thing,
Nice.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. That's wonderful detail. I appreciate it. Eric, Joe, who's next?
What do you think, Joe?
Should we roll for it?
Yeah, why not?
1 through 3. Or no, just roll whoever gets
High
higher.
man wins.
High man wins.
I have a 1, so
I got a 5. Ha! All
I'll
right, cool.
walk in a bit.
So let me pull up my image before I start talking because I can't multitask. All right, so I'll be playing Pip-Up Foolsworthy, little forest gnome. He's in this area, kind of on his own. He got separated from his group, his family, some time ago. I would say probably, I haven't really got a hard timeline in mind, but I'm thinking somewhere between like 3 to 6 months. So like very recently separated from his family, from his home group, kind of really getting out on his own for the first time. He's very independent. He's not very, he's very charismatic. He loves to go around and he's kind of making his way as a gem trader. That's kind of his forte, is like, you know, finding these rare minerals, going to towns, selling them, gathering information. So definitely a lone wolf-ish kind of character, but he has a lot of personality to him. He's very personable. He's very charming. He's got a silver tongue for sure, but he definitely keeps his distance from society. He likes to travel a lot. He likes to interact with different groups. He keeps to himself. He lives in the forest. So like he'll come into the city to trade and then he's off doing his own thing the next day. That's kind of his whole gig. He's got kind of a chip on his shoulder, kind of like how Cornelius had this thing that he needs to prove himself. That's kind of what he feels too, only his is a lot less defined. Like he doesn't know what he has to do to like validate himself where he can, you know, finally return back to his group, but he knows he needs to do something big. So that's kind of where his mentality is at, is he's kind of out there searching for something that's kind of hard to put a finger on, but he knows that when he knows he finds it, he'll latch onto it and run with it. So that's kind of where he's at. So yeah, his big things are being, you know, a merchant, kind of gathering information and money and tools to kind of better his own aims and goals, whatever those might be. And yeah, I don't know if he would necessarily. The cool thing about this kind of background is that he can know any of the characters and he could know none of the characters because he's kind of coming in and out and interacting in a bunch of different ways. So there's a lot of avenues in which someone might have interacted with him in the past. But it all just depends on kind of how we divvy that up. The other nice thing too is that he really could have interactions with any of the groups too, the factions inside the campaign as well, because he's a trader. So he might have had interactions with any one of them depending on what they were selling or what kind of information or tasks they have available to kind of a jack of all trades. So that's a Pip-Up.
So in a way, he's very like pleasant to interact with, but then you might not see him for a week.
Exactly.
Right.
He is a charismatic.
I love that guy.
Like,
where'd he go?
kind of like a
That's pretty awesome.
extroverted introvert.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know, like has a high capacity for social interaction, but burns out very quickly, and then just like is out of there. You know.
Can you give a little mechanically about him?
Mechanically?
Like spells.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Hold on one second. So he's a sorcerer. I do plan on multi-classing him. He focuses a lot on illusion for the most part. Where is his spell list? So he's currently got Friends, Mind Sliver, Minor Illusion, and Frostbite, along with Silvery Barbs and Disguise Self.
There we go.
So he is a very much so a personable kind of like hands-on, not totally combat oriented, but I'm curious to see how that kind of works out. Like I said, I do have a plan to multi-class him into Ranger, so the idea is kind of like range attacks is kind of where he's headed, with support spells in mind as well. I feel like there was something else I wanted to say about him, but now I can't recall what it was. Oh, he does walk with a bit of a gait. He's got like a little bit of a limp on his left leg.
Yeah. He's adorable. You say that.
A little cutie guy.
Yeah.
Adorable is the right word.
Yeah.
So yeah, highly charismatic, very personable. Again, loves interacting with people, but then when he gets burned out, he's like out of here. Yeah.
Do you want me to read off my spells since Eric did?
If you want, like, I don't mind if you want to go into like concept or very detailed, whichever one.
Okay, I'll just do it because I got it.
Yeah.
Just do a quick rundown. So for cantrips, I have Prestidigitation, Shocking Grasp, True Strike. I know people kind of crap on True Strike, but I feel like that'll be good.
Make it cool, Jay. Make it cool.
Exactly. And then he also, in his spell book, he has Absorb Elements, Burning Hands, False Life, Ice Knife, Shield, and Thunder Wave.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah. A lot of frontline stuff.
makes
there.
sense.
Cool.
Makes sense. All right, Yosef.
Sweet. My character's name is Lucilla Coppertoe. She goes by Lucy. So Lucy is a tiefling, roughly 30-ish. She was found by dwarves. Basically the Coppertoe clan, if you will, was a poor mining clan of dwarves who essentially worked for like an elven parent company that took advantage of them, and they happened upon Lucy as a abandoned tiefling. Lucy Coppertoe is her name that she was given by the dwarves. So I think what I'll have the DM do, if story allows, one day, fix her daddy issues, and maybe she discovers what her real name is. I put no thought into it because I think that could be a fun thing. If it doesn't come up, that's cool too. But if it does, great. But as far as she knows, and obviously she knows she's adopted. But that being said, she has taken on the grumpiness of the dwarves. So she's very hands-on. Like, her mantra is essentially like, fuck it, I'll do it. She carries a hammer, a shield. She's super strong. She's very charismatic, kind of like dwarves are. Like, you could talk to them all day, but the minute she's pissed off, as you can tell by her picture. So for those listening, she is very red, very tiefling red, like demon red, blonde hair, braided, very large horns. So there is no disguising her as a tiefling. She's got some piercings, lips and nose. She's also tattooed, which I'll describe what they mean in just a second. And she has what would be described as an amulet, but it's very much like a handmade metal pendant and like some leather that is used as the necklace. So that's like, when you say the word amulet, I always picture like gold jewelry. This is very much a handmade situation. Her story is such that she was raised by the dwarves, got super close to them, but the elves that sort of ran the mine kind of ran the Coppertoes into the ground. And one day there was a catastrophic failure in the mine that wiped out essentially all of the Coppertoe clan. Again, DM, if anyone survived, that would be a surprise to her, because as it happened, in her grief, she left. She was abandoned once, right? And then now she feels like she lost everything. So she essentially became a wanderer. And I feel like we could maybe tie in her joining those knights you talked about, because she is a paladin. Yes. And the day that the mine failed and she decided to leave, she swore a vengeance oath. There's a very long vengeance oath that I wrote out for her, but she says one sort of Arya Stark wise every single night, which I'll just read here. So every night before she goes to sleep, she says, "By the blood of my family and the honor of the Coppertoe name, I vow to hunt down the wicked and bring justice to the oppressed. I will stand against dishonesty and confront evil, wielding my sword in memory of my fallen kin. This I swear each night by the flames that burn within my soul." So she's a bad bitch, right?
That's badass. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So she's got tattoos all over. Some of them are like dwarven sayings. Some of them are dwarven names. But I think the super notable one is she's got a big tattoo that runs down her spine. And it's in like shitty infernal. But it essentially says, embrace the fire within. And so the idea there is she lost this like dwarven connection that she had that was her family, and I don't want to give too much away about her, but she's kind of scared to love again, right? You could probably fill in the gaps there, and I think as you get to know her, you will. And now she's decided to seek more about her infernal heritage, which has kind of led her on to the wandering and all of that. So in her sort of research, she learned that phrase, embrace the fire within, and had it tattooed down her spine. So I don't necessarily know how she got connected with the party, other than, I mean, she's a drifter and she takes jobs because she needs money to live and she doesn't really have any place to call home. So I'm sure we can fit that in somehow. And like I said, when she's feeling it, she's great. You can talk to her all night. But again, she's got a quick fuse.
That's awesome. I'll say, yeah. So I think the order of the gauntlets is perfect. And we can decide together, or you can, and let me know how ingrained she is with that faction, whether she's like an active member, if she's, you know, in and out, or if like she's a leader in it, of some kind, without being too ridiculous, of course. But so whatever, yeah, we'll suss that out. But I think that's the perfect fit for her, especially as she was wandering. If she was looking for something, I was like, oh, they want to do what I want to do. So yeah.
Yeah, and I'm leaning toward in and out, but we can talk offline. Like it kind of depends on the order. If they're super goody, like she's out.
Right, but if they're for justice,
right, then it
she's
could
like
be perfect
to the extreme.
Fit. Yeah. So cool. I love it. I think it's a good fit.
Joe, it's really funny because some of the things that people don't know about my character, if it was like a TV show or movie, I'm like, our characters would be set up as a possible romantic. Like they both have lost and are afraid to lose again.
Yes.
There we go.
When you said that, I was like, oh man, we had a similar thought process.
I won't share my notes about what I was thinking, but JD and Joe are gonna kiss by the end of this game.
I'm so down.
Our in-person session is gonna get hot,
spicy,
as that tiefling is. Is that tiefling soul? Well, awesome. Thank you guys. I think honestly, home run across the board. You guys all did awesome with your characters. I will ask, the homework would be to send me your backstory, whatever backstory you have. If you want to add more details, or you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. But essentially, yeah, I would like if you could, a document so that I can keep it straight of the backstory details or your character details. I will say, you guys did awesome with the detail of your character and who they are and the mechanics. If you already rolled your stats, and they're above the standard array, then you're good. But if you roll them and they're below, then you can also take a feat. I don't want to get too OP by any means. So if you rolled really high and then take a feat, I feel like that's a little too much. But if you did roll the dice and rolled and didn't do so hot, then you can take a feat. So, and just of course, let me know what that is when you get to that point. So keeping with it, go ahead.
Oh, I looked because I forgot my stats. And I'm not going to get a feat because there's one that's under the array. But I think it's funny because you guys are like charismatic. And I forgot that Cornelius has a charisma of 9. So yes. my imagination is that he just doesn't know how to not be like an arrogant noble.
Yeah,
even though he means
hell.
well.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I'm excited to watch that. Though all these interactions play out. Some other notes. I would love it if you guys weren't necessarily trying to sabotage or secretly kill each other. More apt to work together would be nice. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of, or shouldn't say obviously, but there'll be some challenges in front of you. So if you were working together, that'd probably be ideal. And then ideal players know each other. Here's something I want to institute, which I think will be really cool. And you can probably stop sharing Lucy's face.
Yeah, she's scaring me a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm starting.
I totally forgot I was even doing that. Yep.
So here's one like homebrew rule, or I read it somewhere, I saw it somewhere, but if you guys know each other and you come up with a connection that fits together, I'll give you an advantage on a certain like attack roll or something. So example, and this is a bad example, but one of you gets advantage on an attack roll if you're standing on the other person's shoulders. Because that's how you used to hunt when you were kids or something like that. So like if a gnome and a Goliath are together and you're like, hop on, like we did back in the day, and then you would get advantage on that. Or if you guys think of a way that you would do like a combo, like 2 spells together at the same time, but like something that connects to your history or you knowing each other, that would be a really cool way of like incorporating the power of friendship, if you will. So I'm willing to definitely, again, the rule of cool. So if you make it a cool thing and it doesn't totally break the game, go for it.
Love
like
that.
if you guys are siblings and there's a dex save, but you guys hug each other, maybe you get advantage on the dex save or something. I don't know.
Faster
But anyway,
together.
so think about that. And then, yeah, I would love to maybe, if there's any, now knowing everybody, if there's any ideas for connections. I think JD had a good idea about, maybe knowing everybody a little bit because of his wanting to be like a doctor or something, and that would make sense with Chris's character. But any other ideas for connections with you guys? And this doesn't have to be right now, but if there's something off the top, we can say it now and then go from there.
My quick thought was, Eric, was your character kind of like a merchant in and out of different places as
Yes.
history too? Yeah.
Well, again, he's been kind of living this life for anywhere from like 3 to 6 months ish. So not historically a long time as far as the area is concerned, but yes, he has been traveling and moving around.
Well, I was thinking maybe you could have been a merchant to the clan, but if it was that recent, I think maybe the incident would have happened. But maybe we brushed into each other as I was traveling with that crew, with the paladin crew.
It's the only monkey wrench in that scenario, which I do like, is just I'm not sure how much paladins would have a need for gems unless they were like trying to sell them to a vendor to sell in a city or something, maybe.
Let's take it offline. I think there's something.
Yeah, there's something there. We have kind of parsed it out a little bit more, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think it makes sense if I've hung out with a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe kind of go like what you were talking about. Maybe there's something there where when he uses his medicine check, maybe it's a little bit better when he does it with me because he's so familiar with treating my wounds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
And that could work too for him to know Lucy if like he did work for the order, like because he needed to do work. So for the Order of the Gauntlet or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I like that.
Awesome. Cool. I think those are some good seeds. If you guys wanted to flesh it out at some point, that'd be awesome. And it doesn't have to be before session 1, but at least you will meet up in just session 1 and you'll be familiar with each other. So you guys can decide kind of what that means exactly. But the more history, I think, the better. And with all that said, how do you guys
I
feel
had one
about...
thought just now. Sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, go.
Okay. You could always, if Joe's character is a champion of like the people, maybe she did some, like maybe there was an incident where someone was pushing around the halfling gem merchant, and she like came to his rescue or something, like beat up people who were trying to shake him down or something like that.
Maybe.
That's interesting. I like that.
I don't hate the idea. Yeah, let's think about this. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good seed.
Now, talking about camaraderie and your characters knowing each other, that leads me to my next question. How do you guys feel about character deaths?
Do it up, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
don't.
Kill
I
'em.
don't. Don't pull punches. Like if
100%.
If
that's why
JD gets crit in one shot in like the first episode, just let it happen.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
That's my vote.
Thanks for
Good
speaking
point.
on his behalf. That was.
Well, we already talked about JD's character dying, so that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
Actually,
Giants.
I was just thinking like a wizard in melee, like that could happen. He could just get crit for
Could happen.
20 damage.
I'm probably I'm the most likely one, the candidate to go first.
But yeah, I mean, if you guys are good, I wasn't gonna necessarily pull punches, but I did want to make sure I warned you all. Like again, giants are big and threatening. So the first 4 to 5 levels, I would say, if combat can be avoided, you might want to, but you can do whatever you want. So if you're okay with character deaths and you want to pick a fight with a giant, you could get lucky, or you could die. But if you all have a long lost twin that has very similar characteristics, we could always do that too. So,
Cool.
All right. So yeah, only homework is if you guys want to take time and no defined time frame to kind of determine backstory or connections with each other, and then send me backstories and maybe character sheets. If it's in D&D Beyond, I can log in and see them there. But if it's written out or somewhere else, yeah, just let me know. So that, and then I have a different idea that I'll share later for when we start. But that is it for kind of the traditional session 0 part of this. Is there anything anyone else wanted to discuss? Anything I might have missed talking about, or anything like that? Any questions about the setting, the lore, the characters, the way we're going to do rules, how we're going to kind of role play or anything?
How are you wanting to do? Because I know we're pretty, like we just mostly ignore spell components and stuff like that. Like I know you said we weren't going to do rations. How do you feel about spell components?
So spell components, I think, read them, and if it's something that's common, I don't care at all. But if it is something like, a prized gem, like obviously Eric's character might have it, but you need to have the gold for it. Like I think chromatic orb, I talked to Eric about, because I'm like, can I have that when I first start as Theo in our other campaign? Because it was like $1,000 gem or something like a precious gem you needed for it. So we worked out a way that it made sense. But other than that, especially at lower levels, no, I don't necessarily care. I think if you guys get to higher levels and there are rare components, then yeah, we'll talk about it. But I don't necessarily plan on sticking to that too much.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
The way that like I've been doing a Rook is if it has a component that costs gold, then I'm like, okay, I need, like I did that last session. I bought the vial.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
gold.
yeah.
Right.
So I don't know. That's an easy way to like. No one cares if I have a beetle, but if I have a,
Right.
Yeah.
Like yeah, and if you're in like stranded somewhere for a long period of time where there's not vials to buy, then yes, that would make sense that maybe you wouldn't be able to have the components for something like that. But okay, I was gonna say something else. Anything else? Any other questions?
Yeah, quick question. For like where we're from, like I guess specifically my character, should we just leave it sort of vague? Do you want me to come up with a fake city? Do you want me to come up with a real city within the region you described?
It can be anywhere in Faerun. It could be a distant land. Just understanding how you got to where we're gonna end up would be good. But yeah, I mean, it's a module that D&D wrote. So if there's a dwarven clan area that they're from, yeah, you just pick one of them.
Okay. Perfect.
So I'm using the book Bigby Presents Glory of the Giants to pull like a lot of like the mechanical stuff. So like the subclass is going to be from there. And I also used a background from there that gives a feat. And the feat is probably one of the worst feats ever, but it's kind of like in 2024, everyone's background will give them like a level 1 feat.
So it's like that kind of, okay.
Yeah, like it's not. It literally lets me add a D10 of fire damage, proficiency bonus number of times per day, but it's a prerequisite for the feat I want to take at level 4, which is also not very good, but it'll fit the character really well, I think. So, but that's cool anyway.
Yeah, I mean, especially if it, I think Eric said this too, like if it fits the character and makes sense, then yeah, that's fine. Okay. If it's just some random thing you want because you think it's cool, no. But if you could justify it for why your character would have such a thing, then yeah, I'm okay with that. Again, if
it's kind of just like the fitting of, you know, how to bring like the how to bring his, at least his belief that he's been handpicked by Surtur for some task, into the mechanics of actually playing, and it'll make more sense as, like, you know, he levels up and whatnot. But
perfect.
The only thing I had is I realized I forgot to describe physically Pip-Up. So he is a like 20 to 25-year-old forest gnome, curly brown locks flowing down, brown eyes, great smile, just a joyous little guy who's just happy to be everywhere he is.
Cutie.
I love it. I love it. Adorable.
Totes adorbs.
Cool. All right, so let's get into the town building. So the idea here is that we will all collaboratively build a town together, and we're going to use Canva to kind of draw it. This was Join the Party podcast, created an adaptation of A Quiet Year, which is basically a town building type game. And this what we're going to do is an adaptation of the adaptation. So a dream within a dream. Because I want to make it a little simpler. We don't have to do all the steps that they kind of outlined, even though all of them are great. But we're going to basically build a town that we can consider might be all of yours home base. It's going to be a living town within the wild frontier, and we're going the frozen, whatever it's called. Yeah. And then you know, you can go back to it or whatever, but for when we're actually building it, we're not specifically you're not controlling a specific person. It's more, you know, open world, high level type things. Okay. So I'll kind of go through exactly how we're going to do it and how we're going to take turns, but we're all going to be equally involved in this. So I'm going to read a few things to get us ready, and then we're going to get going. So all right. So we have a map in front of us.
Yes.
So we're all doing this together. Our roles aren't to control specific characters or act out scenes. Instead, we consider the goals and needs of the different factions of the community. A player can care about the richest people in one turn and the ruffians on the street in another. This is about building the most interesting city we would like, one that we'd want to play in later. Therefore, if it is our obligation to make bold, interesting choices. They can be silly, funny, or ridiculous, but our campaign will live here. In our case, it will start here and live in the world. So basically, it's going to be broken down into a few sections. And actually, I pull up my notes for that because that's more organized.
Before we get too started here,
sorry,
how large do we want this thing to be? Do we want enough room here that in case we have like all 5 factions having a footprint here, that we want to have like a corner for them, or
no,
like, is that
no,
a building,
so,
or is like
so we're gonna build. So I'm trying to think of the town as kind of like the size of like one of the 10 towns. So it'll be a small to medium sized town.
Okay.
It doesn't have to have everything in it. And what I'm going to do after is fill in the little things. Like, if we didn't talk about because we're only going to get like 4 rounds each basically to talk about stuff.
Okay.
So if there wasn't a blacksmith brought up, or there wasn't like a town hall or a mayor or something, those are things that are going to be in here. It's going to be a normal functioning town. But based on the prompts that we get is how we're going to decide how it's formed and kind of its personality, if you will. But we're going to basically break it down by starting with. I'll just go over high level first. So we're gonna introduce details to the terrain. So it's gonna be very like mountains, rivers, seasides, castles, gem mines, a large chasm with a bridge over it, stuff like that. Town hall, blacksmith. Then we're gonna talk about resources. So what's abundant and what's scarce in this town. Then we're going to do an event table. So this is where we actually kind of develop the personality of the town. And I'll get into the details when we get there. And we're going to do 2 rounds of that. And then it's basically going to end with what we have. I have a couple other questions that we could ask and answer if we feel like we want to do a little bit more. But since we've never done it before, I didn't want to go too crazy, depending on how it goes. So we are first going to start, and everyone's got their Canva up. We're going to start with, reload page. Oh, no. Oh, no.
We lose you. The most important person we lost.
Jump back in. I hit jump back in.
I am the captain now.
I am here. So we're going to start by adding in features.
Okay.
So, this is just the general shape. It doesn't have to be, it can be, oh yeah. There was one other blurb in here I was going to say. You're not necessarily trying to create a perfect picture. It's more like a symbol map. So your symbol will represent the event that you're talking about, and that'll make more sense later.
Okay.
But I'm going to say this is a coastal town. So this is like this is gonna be bad. Ooh, this is like a sea, like it's on the coast. So this is like the sea and kind of a beach.
Okay.
That goes into the town. So now, again, we're gonna do 2 details each. So that was my first one. So the next person, if you want to do, it can be natural terrain or man-made fixtures in the town. Just draw it on the map, whether there's a mountain, like I said, there's a castle, there's a town hall, there's a gap with a bridge, stuff like that. So does anybody want to kind of put a feature on here?
Let's go in the order that we talked about characters. I think it's a fair way to reward the person who went first.
Perfect.
Love that.
As far as scale, are these little dots meant to represent some kind of scale? Or
so no, this is not like, again, and I shouldn't have drawn such a long thing for the water, but I wanted to show that it was seaside. You're literally just putting symbols in different places. So there is no scale. It's just, this is where the town hall is.
Yeah, okay.
This
gotcha.
is where,
Got it.
parts of a mountain is. I don't know, something crazy. But
so if I wanted to create like a crossroads, I could just be like, here's one road, and then there's another road leading off in that direction.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Right. Monsieur Reed?
Okay. That kind of threw me off because I wanted to say like if it was a town that was kind of like had a center to it. I guess it could still. But I think like maybe somewhere right in the middle. What am I at? Like, I don't know, like here. Ugh, I can't draw a circle with a mouse. They have like this big statue of maybe a local, like a historical hero of the town or founder. I'm thinking like Trafalgar Square or.
You and I were on the exact same wavelength, Jay. That's so funny.
Can you put like the circle and then put like a stick figure or something, so it's like symbolizes that it's a person?
Yep.
And you don't have to define who that person is yet, unless you want to.
No clue, so no.
All right. Sure.
Long Legs Johnson.
Long Legs.
Right leg McGee. All right.
So I'll just do this for now. I like the idea of the north part of the town being like capped by a mountain range, or like, some sort of mountainous barrier.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
I just keep messing with my.
I don't think it actually displays the paint until you're done drawing.
Oh, okay, okay. Can someone
Yeah.
try and grab name and put it up higher?
If I can find the... How do I get off of the draw?
You have to either go over to the left to go to text or something. That's how I moved the resources, but I think the mountains are in the way now. Yeah, there we go. Yep, thank you. Okay.
Awesome.
Teamwork.
There we go. Look at that.
So right now we're showing, this is kind of like a, two fronts are kind of not accessible by, like, we got mountains on one side and water on the other.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Joe, I think you're next.
Yeah, so I think like in this sort of area of town, I'll just do a scribble for now, and then I might draw a different symbol. I'm thinking like this area of town is run down, some abandoned buildings for whatever reason.
Mhm.
And it goes maybe along with like this was an area of town that dwarves were more prosperous, and now there's not many.
Ooh.
Cool.
And I don't know why, but that's what I'm thinking.
I like that.
Symbolize
that.
it how you, how you think that would be symbolized.
Let's just do a couple buildings, and then a big D for
Dirty
dwarves.
Big old D.
All right.
It had to happen eventually.
This
I
is
mean,
the
we
Dwarven
got-
district.
That's where
We gotta
Dirty
have the
Mike and the
D.
boys hang out.
Yeah.
All right. Is that everybody once?
That's everybody wants.
Everybody wants.
All right. My next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a watchtower
Ooh.
at the corner.
Nice.
That's awful. All right. So basically, you would think for a town that wants to be secure, they would kind of have a lot of these, but they just have one giant one in the corner that doesn't have water or mountain. And that's all I'll say about that for now. Just another feature. So one more feature for everyone else.
Okay. So I'm thinking over here in the Dwarven slums area next to it, there is a kind of an underground fighting thing.
Fighting thing?
Fighting
club?
pit?
Well, he can't say the name of it because that's the first rule.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a very good point. I love it.
Punch.
He's getting hit in the face.
So when you say underground, do you mean like legitimately underground, or just like a
No, it's
secret?
just like secretive. Maybe it's underground. I don't know. Maybe there's a building on top of it that you have to like go through and then
Okay.
climb down some stairs or something. But it's more. It's not like a main attraction. It's like if you're in the know, you might know there, and you can like go there to gamble on the fights, or you can even go there to fight.
Man, I'm so excited to meet Fantasy Tyler Durden now.
Right.
That's
love
actually
it.
who Rokas is.
Tyler
I mean, yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Complete
Cool.
with the abs and everything.
Okay.
Jeremiah.
I think. I guess that would mean we could probably say. I'm on the pointer now. That's why. Since there's the water over to the left, maybe it's the whole front edge, but maybe like, I don't know, maybe here is like docks, like a docks district.
Ooh, cool.
You know?
Yeah.
So like maybe they're
Yep.
a port town that does a lot of trading or something like that. So
Ooh, that leads good into our next thing too. All right.
okay, cool.
All right.
So
Yeah.
there was something I wanted to build off of the mountains themselves, but I feel like there's a lot going on in that corner. So
Section.
I don't want to like. So this is what I was thinking. I'll point this out to you guys because I kind of want your input on this.
Mhm.
I thought it'd be cool to have like a system of tunnels where like mining or forging or harvesting resources from the mountain could be accessible. And when
Yeah.
Joe put the dwarven slums in there, I think that makes a lot of sense to have it close to that, to say like the dwarves ran dry, so there's nothing coming out of it, but that's where they went to go work, and now it's not there anymore. So like that's kind of what I had in my head, but then I feel like we have a lot of stuff going on like in that area, which I don't know if is great or not.
Well, it could even be like, because the mountains are there, it doesn't have to be right connected to it. It could be
Doesn't
like,
have to, but it does play in nicely to the idea of the dwarven downfall,
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like that
Yeah.
could have been like the living area, kind of like district. Because I'm thinking
True.
if the dock is over here, they would maybe have we could justify
Okay,
saying
yeah.
they like streamlined it
I
or
like
something.
that.
I don't know. Not to like tell you
No,
what to do.
that's actually
No.
a really good happy medium, I think. So like let's say like right here, there's like a large entrance or like a system of entrances to like get into the mountain to
Perfect.
harvest all the resources. Whatever that might be, gems, minerals, ores, precious metals, whatever. Yeah.
So I was gonna say
like
this
that.
when we get to
Way to
the
go.
events, but yeah, when it's your turn to do whatever, you can collaborate with everyone and ask for opinions if you're stuck or whatever. You ultimately get the final decision. So when we get into like the scenarios, basically, which
Cool.
is coming later, that's kind of the idea, is that we'll all work collaboratively. But then if you unless you have a really strong idea, just go for it. But if you're like, I'm thinking about this, guys, what do you think? And then we can kind of work off each other.
Cool.
Nice.
So it doesn't have to be just you, if that makes sense. All right. Joe, I think you get to add the final feature.
Oh man, I'm at a
Oh,
loss.
done?
No, the final
just
feature
for this
of
part.
step 1. So these are just features.
I want. I
Terrain
don't.
features technically.
Speak aloud, man. What you thinking?
Yeah.
We have this big grand watchtower. We have this big statue, and we haven't defined who the statue is to, right?
Mhm.
Right.
I want to say also there is a big religious place. I just haven't put my foot on what. So if it's like maybe like a big,
That's okay.
Pick a god too.
Like a cathedral
I mean,
or something?
Yeah.
it could be fun to roll for a god too.
I do
don't
kind
have
of.
one
Here's
on mine.
the thing is kind of if we're saying that this is a big port town because of the docks and the trading and everything,
Yeah.
Umberly could make sense.
Yep.
All right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
What's Umberly's deal?
She's the goddess of the sea, the evil deity of the sea.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well-
which is kind of fun because she's not. Yeah. Go ahead.
Do we want it to be? I mean, this is a functioning town in this area that has, order to it. I don't want to say it's a part of the Lord's Alliance per se, but I mean, freedom of religion, I guess. So yeah, that's fine. I was just trying to think let's stick away from like super evil, but no, that makes sense.
Well, I mean, she's an evil deity, but like a lot of the ship merchants, worship her for safe travels while they're exactly the same thing with Poseidon, like sacrifices to Poseidon to calm the seas is kind of the idea of how she's like evil, because she can be a little bit temperamental because the ocean is temperamental and
right, yeah, makes
claims
sense.
lives all the time and blah. She's not like a I'm gonna enslave the world type of deity. She's more of a
got it. Okay, that's fine.
The weather's chaotic and the sea will eat you alive if you don't respect it kind of chaotic evil.
So that's perfect. I got it. So over in this area, I think this is pretty close to the docks. There is bigger than a shrine, but not quite like a functioning chapel.
Cool.
Basically a building dedicated to Umberly. So I wouldn't say it's like the main deity or maybe even the main like church of the town, so to speak. But I would say like the dock folk and maybe the less.
Yeah, right. The merchants.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
You and maybe is your statue, JD? Do you think that's sort of like a fountain looking thing, or no? Is it more of a statue?
Yeah, like if it's a bigger town, then I was imagining it could just be like a normal like statue on a pedestal, or it could be like Trafalgar Square, or like Chris, now that I know you've been to Newcastle, like the statue at the center of town in Newcastle. Like it's just this big square and people sit at the feet of it, and it's like a big tower with a person on top of it.
That's so fun.
So I think this is much less grand in scale. This is like not as cool, but the people who love it love it, right? So.
Good old Long Leg Johnson, man, icon.
Logling Johnson and Umberly, perfect.
I don't know if it's Y or IE, but that's what I have.
Hey, this is
or EE.
I think it's EE. Yeah.
You can't erase it. It's already there. Just kidding.
Canon.
Do what you want. All right.
Nice. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So this is already fun, and there's other spots that I think are going to be more fun. So this is
super cool.
This next section is we're going to identify resources, and then we're going to determine if they are abundant or scarce.
Cool.
And here's what I mean by resources. I do mean fish, gold, steel, hunting, whatever. But a resource could also be technology. It could be openness. How open are they to other people? It could be religion. Are they abundant in religion? Are they abundant in hard work or entertainment or magic? Not magic items, because I don't want you guys to have a hub where you can always get magic items.
Damn it.
But and then we're gonna say, so we're gonna all have one, and then I'll add another one, so it's even. We're gonna have 3 abundances, and we're gonna have 3 scarcities.
Okay.
So we're all gonna get to choose, but again, it doesn't have to be. And we're kind of landlocked, so maybe travel or something would be scarce, or something like that. So
interesting.
I'm gonna put the first one. I'm gonna put maybe an easy one, and I'm actually gonna try and type it in. That's what the thing on the left is. So we'll actually just type these in. So for abundances, I'm gonna put fish.
Makes sense.
Sweet.
Yes.
Dope.
Yeah. So now you can again. So we're gonna have 3 abundances and 3 scarcities. So, whoever's next can decide. You have to go into text on the left to get to the box that you can.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Or I think you can go to the little arrow and click into the text box too. I think. Yeah.
If you want to just tell me, I can.
Your parent.
That also works too. Our scarcity is text.
Literacy.
Technology. So same order.
Think,
so
Chris?
who's next? I'm sorry, Chris.
Me again.
Yeah.
Same order, baby.
So going off of what Joe was kind of saying, maybe it would make sense to have like whatever this mine is. There's just a mineral scarcity, like maybe iron or gold or whatever that mine was. Maybe Joe, you can even throw out a resource. Joe, what do you got? What resources were they mining out of this?
The one this mine here up on the top left.
Yeah,
that was Eric's baby. The mine.
But no. You run with it. I like the dwarves. I like linking the scarcity of resources, adding to the diminish of the dwarven population. I like that.
So let's go with copper then, because it makes sense that they ran out of copper in this town, and there was they had to go somewhere else, and there was this.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, the copper toe. So it actually ties my character into here.
I love that.
Cool.
Fuck yeah, that's so awesome. Yeah. Yep.
So do you want me to type it in scarcities, or are you gonna do it?
You got it.
Go ahead. I don't actually know.
It's DM's job. You got to do the dirty work, buddy.
That's right, baby.
I'm cool with it. All right. So we've got 1 of each, 2 more of each. So next is
JD. Maybe I originally, when you said we could pick something they're known for. I don't know if it's too silly, because I don't know why. The first thing that went to my head was imagining that it's a foodie destination, right? They have a restaurant or
sushi and all.
Oh, that could be kind of fun.
I love that actually.
Yeah,
So when you say that's an abundance of
fine dining,
fine dining.
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
There's just like Michelin star restaurants all
Right.
over this town.
Do you
Whatever the
want to know
equivalent
something
is.
about Michelin star restaurants? It's actually the tire company that gives out Michelin
Wait,
stars.
is it really?
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
it
is so funny.
Didn't
And
know.
that's like the most random
Why?
thing ever.
That is so
Yeah.
random.
I've asked Mariah that question. I'm just like, why? Because she's so into all that. I'm like, I'll never understand why a tire company's opinion
We're
matters.
good at two things: making tires and grading food.
Right.
Crazy.
Oh,
Explain it to me, listener. Explain it.
Yeah,
to
that
me.
doesn't make any sense.
That's perfect. All right.
I want to
Eric.
try and no. There we go. Got it. All right. I think so. It's funny because I know JD. I think you said this in jest, but I kind of like it.
oh no.
Oh, okay. So education.
Yeah, like
Interesting.
like
Not
the
alerted.
locals or the area, like they're just not very well, like book smart, like well read. Like I'm not saying they're dumb by any stretch, but I like the idea of like they're not
Uneducated.
being not being a lot of like educational books or maybe scrolls or written
Yeah.
down. It's more of like an oral history kind of area, maybe, like there's just not a
They're
lot.
a
What's that?
fishing mining town. That's what they
Yeah,
are.
yeah. It's
right?
just they like not
and they
that
know their
they're
food.
exactly. They just
Yeah.
there isn't a lot of literacy or like
I love it.
highbrow books or things of that nature, right? This is a blue
Mhm.
collar town.
Yeah, and I know like
love it.
we're doing events or whatever later, but with the fact that we have a like dilapidated district, maybe
Mhm.
don't want to put racism into it. So like it doesn't have to be that it's just because it's dwarves, but maybe it would like end up being a town that's very stratified, right? So like
Maybe.
the people who are educated have money, but then like there's not really public education available to like the people who don't have
Mhm.
jobs now because they're not mining.
Or even saying that because this is like a fishing and mining town, there's no need to have like a upper echelon because they have no reason to
yeah.
be there too.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. True. Cool.
Yeah, I like
Beautiful.
that.
This.
Sorry
I
to
love
interrupt, but yeah.
All right, Joe, you're up to pick the last scarcity or abundance, and then we're all gonna kind of pick the last one, whatever you don't pick.
So
collaboratively.
I think inns or like travel is really what I'm getting at, but like inns, right? Like we're surrounded by water and mountains. It's a blue collar town. Even though there is some amazing fine dining, it's very rare that people blow through here without a very good reason. So I feel like the hospitality is not
There's scarcity and hospitality.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not that they're mean. Like the couple inns that exist are probably like, come on in. But there isn't like, 4 or 5 like really great places to stay. I think it's few.
It's like renowned for their food, but like don't like the local places to stay are like not good.
Yeah, 100%. It's
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting Detroit vibes. Like the
I
restaurant.
was
I was
just
yeah.
gonna say that for sure, man.
Yeah,
Get
that
the
does
fuck
track.
out at night. Yeah.
I was 100% thinking like West Virginia, just
Oh
Yeah.
man.
like dilapidated mining towns everywhere.
I love it.
So we legit just made Detroit with a fantasy fight club.
God, I
That's
fucking
basically where
love
we are
that.
now.
I
But it also
fucking
has
love
good
it.
restaurants. Is Detroit known?
Yeah, it
They-
does
They
have good
do. They
restaurants.
actually do have some pretty good
Oh.
food spots. Yeah.
And there's one watchtower of the Rensen, right?
Right.
My God.
And
This
that's
is great.
Joe. Well, yeah. I mean, it's
Fantastic.
All right.
the fist.
yeah, Joe Lewis's fist. This
This is great. This is great. All right. So this town is surrounded by mountains and water. They don't have copper literacy or a place to stay, but they have lots of fish and fine dining. What other abundancy? Like, do we think that they have an abundancy of like? Do we want to say they don't? I don't know. What do you guys?
I
like,
have-
this
I have
one is
something.
everyone's done one. So what else can we?
I have an idea, and I'm kind of curious what you guys think about this. Because there's such a fine dining aspect to it, do we want to say that maybe there's a good sense of wildlife or like diversity as far as animal species go, like towards like maybe like the west or the south or something, or east or south.
Yeah.
I mean, we could maybe just like roll that into like fish. Like in introduction to like there's like an abundance of wildlife instead of
I don't want to.
wildlife,
Yeah, we should
plural.
try not to keep it too similar.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, that's a
I
good
was
idea.
thinking like there's an abundance of, because we do have this infrastructure, right? Like we
Mhm.
have these roads, we have this port, but there's not a whole lot of like importing, exporting. Maybe we kind of say there's an abundance of like desire among the people to kind of build the economy. Like everybody wants things to get going. So they're
abundance
like,
of like hardworking, like invested townsfolk.
yeah,
That's
like,
interesting. Yeah.
in terms of, yeah, like the townsfolk want to work hard to like build their town back, but also like the wealthier people are willing to invest their money in making putting the existing infrastructure to work to make money for themselves, to put people to work. That's what I was thinking anyway.
So like
Like,
so like
benevolent-
Detroit with the Illiches and the Gilberts.
It is so.
oh my god.
Fantasy Detroit.
So like benevolent townsfolk who want to see their town improve.
Yeah, maybe like pride in the town and like just general, people aren't
Willingness
leaving
to-
even though there's like not a lot of work right now.
Mm.
People want to stick around and see
Right.
this town.
Yeah, like the mind dried up.
Pride. Maybe like
but
town pride.
There's all
Yeah.
of this pride and like grit that we want to
Stop
get
it.
to work, but we can't. And that
Yeah.
could be a story element is like, is there something that the party can do? that
Really
helps
lift
bring
yourself up by
something
your
back?
bootstraps
Yeah.
and
Like,
stick together.
Is there some way that they can restore the roar?
Yeah, exactly.
Um. Okay. So
That
it's
And the
set-
fine dining is leveraging the fish to help do that, right? Like try and create a new scene. So
Mhm.
maybe
Mhm.
it isn't.
Yeah, there you go.
Get some tourism in there.
There's probably like one or two rival chefs who are like battling it out to see who can be the best, and they keep like one-upping each other for dishes.
Guys, you're gonna laugh at a couple of these prompts that we're gonna go through later.
Oh my god, did we just
Okay.
do this
Think about it.
automatically?
No, there's some questions or prompts that tie into what we're talking about pretty well, which is
Okay.
really funny.
Nice. Sorry, I have to
Um,
step away to get some water. I'll be right back. Don't worry.
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna do the same.
Northside Docks got the best food in town. Don't tell me that southern stuff is better.
quick potty wine break. Okay, great. See go.
Okay,
I wonder if
5
I
minutes.
I will corral everyone with the stories in your absence, or maybe
Oh.
not.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just leaving, but I'm here.
All right, now that they're all gone, guys, here's what we're gonna do. Okay, we're just totally sink this whole town, right?
Yeah,
We're just
at a
gonna.
volcano.
You
like,
you
right in
hush.
the middle of town.
Oh, that's a good idea. Volcanic event right in the center. Doom of Valyria stuff. Actually, speaking of that, we're just gonna ramble here for House of the Dragon stuff because I just started watching that and I'm like a few weeks behind. So let's go ahead and just dive into
I haven't
that.
seen it yet. I have not started.
Have you read the
season
book?
2. No.
Also, I hate that I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Good.
Wait, so you haven't read the book and you haven't seen the show?
I watched the first season of the show, but I haven't started watching the second season.
Oh, okay. I don't want to ruin it for you then.
Yeah, me either.
It's good though. It's really good. Yeah. We burned through 4 episodes in the last few days, and it's a lot of fun.
How many episodes are they in the season?
I think it's 6 right now.
Oh wow, I'm way behind then.
Yeah, I know. It's going by very quickly, but very cool.
Oh, did we take a break? Sorry.
Kind of.
It was a potty, it was a bathroom
Refreshment.
and water break.
Okay. Well, then I will step
I would
away
also
shortly.
like to submit that I got a banana,
Oh, sorry.
so it's a
Bathroom,
potty / water /
banana break.
That's not a
Banana.
healthy combination of things.
It's a
not.
banana break.
Banana break.
I think I have COVID.
Oh no.
Right now?
That's a fun thing. Yeah, like right now. Yeah.
No, that's not fun.
Well, I'm on the tail end of it, I think. But Morgan was really sick like last week. And then I just like something happened to me like midway through Sunday, and it was not good. So I've been like out of work this whole week basically. I went in a little bit this morning, which is actually it was a good thing because I had to fix like 5 things. It was very frustrating, but I went in for a few hours. But I'm still not quite over it. My voice is still a little weak.
You still, you got that like
It sucks.
Yeah.
deep baritone voice.
Well,
going on.
apparently, so the symptoms for the new variant apparently are like sore throat and coughing a lot, and there was something else, and like that's all my symptoms. So I went to go get a test at home, but apparently they stopped covering the at home testing for your health insurance. So
Really?
it was like $50 for a 2-pack, and I was like, I don't need to spend $50 to find out if I have COVID because I already have whatever I have. So like I'm pretty
They
sure
don't
that's
have
what
the
it
free
is.
ones anymore, right?
I mean, I need to look and see if the government is still sending out free packs, but then again, it takes days to get here. So by the time I
Yeah.
get them, it's not gonna do me any good. So
True.
super fun.
All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry,
All
I'm
right.
very excited.
Yeah, this is awesome.
This is a lot of fun.
You should be. This is a lot of fun.
So, can you zoom out a little bit? So
I'm
it's,
trying.
Why can't
Oh,
I
wait, hold
see
on.
your shared screen? This is weird.
I don't
you
know.
can't?
I didn't see any of the characters, and I can't see you sharing screen either.
I
Bro,
don't
what is
know.
wrong?
I can. Did you
Everyone
change
else
your
can.
Yeah, I can
your
too.
view on Skype, Larry? You know, there's like a view button.
I have
Nah,
grid
either.
view open.
I have content view on.
Yeah,
I
I have
don't even have that
content view
option.
as well. That's probably
I don't even have that option.
Oh no.
Get it together, Skype.
You problem.
I'm trying to learn how to I could scroll earlier and now I
No,
can't.
yeah, I couldn't figure it out either.
I'll tinker. Continue as you
so,
are.
Okay.
There we go. It's a little better.
So we've got our resources, we've got our geographical features, our main ones. So now we're going to get into a little bit more specific events. So what's going to happen is keep the resources in mind to help inform your decisions. But basically, what you're going to do, and we're going to go around. You're going to roll the d6.
cool.
Whatever number you get, I'm going to read a prompt.
Ooh.
It's going to be collaborative world building. So if you don't have a great idea off the bat, you can ask the rest of us, kind of like how we have been doing.
Yeah.
And then basically you're going to we're going to go back to drawing, and you're going to basically symbolize it on the map of the town, a way to just denote what happened in the event, or basically the outcome of it. So we'll go in the same order. I'll go just to get the ball rolling, since I've looked into this a little more, and then we'll go from there. If you get the same number as someone else, we will re-roll until you get a different one.
Cool.
And then there will be an era event, so something big that will happen that I will describe, and then we're going to do a second round. So
Awesome.
I will roll a die, and then I got a 2. So the 2 is there is one good road and one not so good road that connects the neighborhoods. What are they? And the neighborhoods meaning just like the different parts of the town.
Yes, these are 2 different roads now, right?
One good and one bad.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep so what I was thinking was keeping the road, the main one that goes across, as the good road. And then I don't have that's one of the prompts I didn't want to get. But then there's another road maybe somewhere that, this is the gem, and this is the fighting pit, right?
Yeah, and then the
So there's
derelict area. Yeah.
JD, can you move your?
Get out of here, Jay.
So you can come from the docks, and you can take this other road to get around in this area.
I like it.
And so we've got the good road that most people travel on, but then we've got this kind of shady road that goes to the abandoned, or the dry mine and the fighting pit and kind of the dilapidated area.
I like it.
I think it's great. That's exactly perfect.
Thank you. All right. Next, Chris, roll a die.
1. I just did.
What group has the highest status in the community? What must people do to gain inclusion in this group? Again, if you got an idea, go for it. If you want to collaborate,
I think the Goliaths have the highest. And
No.
Goliath.
This is not tied to our characters at all. The arrow event is that all the Goliaths die. So
No.
Well, I know it's not tied to our characters, but I'm gonna tie it to my character. My backstory, and it fits because the dwarves kind of left and we ran out of copper in this mine. I kind of was going with like an parent elf company that was like overworking the dwarves.
Right.
Oh.
So I don't know if, and I don't think they're sinister. I think they're greedy. So I don't know if we want to get into that part of the politics of this town, but maybe there is like just a couple elf families with money here.
I was thinking like I mean that works, but I was thinking something like the trade guild is,
or one of the factions. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I like integrating one of the factions in this if we can.
It's pretty interesting.
Sorry, I don't remember the factions.
So
the people that were
the Harpers are the
paladins.
secret do-gooders. The Lord's Alliance are like the King's Guard that have alliances with other major settlements. The Emerald Enclave. Ooh, the Emerald Conclave is wilderness survivalists, peacekeepers between nature and civilization. The Order of the Gauntlets is like the Paladins for justice, and the Zentrum is the CD.
I'm going Zentrum. This is a poor area. Crime is going to run rampant, and I think that the Zentrum have a foothold here. There's a port to smuggle shit in and out.
Wait, I've got a custom idea. What if there is a pirate network, much like our pirate campaign?
Triple collaboration.
What was it? The empty net?
God, that would be all three, wouldn't it?
The lobster pots.
This is
lobster pots,
baby.
There could be a little pirate.
I think there's two good options here as far as like integrating stuff in. I like where Chris is headed. I thought the same thing with the Zentrum because we already have the fighting pit and this derelict area and like the shady north kind of area. So like that does kind of tie in. I think the Order of the Gauntlet too. There's an opportunity to kind of put them in here as well if we really wanted to, just to give either Joe an easier way to. Well, actually, I guess Joe does already have a tie with the copper toes and stuff too. But
well, I think that all of them can have a presence, but the question was like who has the most.
That's right.
Presence.
Good call. I like the Zentrum. I think.
So I'm going Zentrum.
It's Chris's decision. So yeah, unless it's ridiculous, like too ridiculous, but.
Like the
so
Goliaths.
This group, what group has the highest status in the community, and what must people do to the highest status in the community, and what must people do to gain inclusion in this group? Ooh. If we want to just say the Zentrum have the most pull, that's fine, and like change the question a little bit.
Yeah,
again, it's
all right.
They have the most influence,
so I'm
right?
gonna kind of like change the question a little bit. Then I think the most powerful group,
powerful is fine,
is the Zentrum, but I think that they are kind of like that they're a criminal organization. They're shadowy. They're not really.
I have an idea.
But then I was thinking the one that like Joe likes, that wants to be a part of. The Order of the Gauntlet. The Order of the Gauntlet. They're like the most outwardly
influential.
I love that. That's cool.
Pretty cool.
So you
they're not.
Basically, 2 questions.
Oh, did I do 2 questions?
No, you basically created 2 things with your answer.
Is that okay?
Whatever. I don't care. Normally this goes 4 rounds. We're only doing 2 rounds. So
gotcha.
Okay.
It's fine. So you have to symbolize that in one symbol somewhere.
Okay.
I have an idea for the how to gain access or gain like entrance into the Zentrum.
Okay.
I like the idea of having to murder someone and toss their body as a presentation to Umberly.
Oh dang!
This is turning.
That's how you prove your.
That's how you prove your worth and gain access to the Zentrum network, or like become one of them. Is you to make a killing and offer it to Umberly.
Blood out.
Blood in, blood out. All right.
The iron price, the copper price.
Oh
the
yeah,
copper
the copper price.
I love it.
Fisher price.
Do we have
Oh yeah, I gotta roll again now. Huh?
Yeah, Chris is gonna draw his picture real quick.
Copper price.
Okay.
Nice.
And then can you actually? I found the Zentrum logo, but I
Dope.
can't draw it.
I'll take a stab at it. I
Does
got
the
a stylus
Zentrum
here.
have anything to do with the Fight Club, or is that just like ruffians of the town?
Yeah, I think
Ask as a collab.
anything that like is the seedy underbelly of the town, anything that's like the criminal enterprise
Mhm.
is going to have something to do with the Zentrum. They're going to have their hands in a lot of different pockets. Like if you want to, bring something in, you might have to go like there might be some kind of like extortion going on where the Zentrum will be like, all right, well, you're bringing in, all of these things. We're going to take 2.
Oh, you got clams for the food competition. Well, guess what?
Some of those clams are mine.
Give me those good clams.
But if you don't pay the protection, someone might come steal your clams.
And they use this
Oh.
shady road to their advantage too. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Hence why it's shady.
I would
Alright.
assume they also know how to get in and out of the mine too.
I was thinking that too. Yeah. Like using the tunnel system now and.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Right.
All right.
Plot hook. What if it's not an empty mine? It's like there's a Balrog.
Ooh. or maybe they're harvesting a mineral on the sly and not saying anything, keeping it on the low.
Sure.
Like maybe it's not actually dried up. Maybe there's actually some resources there that actually are present, but they're just kind of hoarding it for themselves.
And exporting it just for their own profit.
Yeah.
I love
it. Love it.
This is great.
I like that better than the Balrog joke.
Just don't go don't go too deep and too greedily.
They dug too greedily and too
Because you shall not pass. All right. JD, is it you?
Yeah, I rolled a 6.
All right. JD's prompt is: a prominent citizen decides to move elsewhere in town. Where do they go?
Oh,
in this case, you can create a person and what their job is, and then where they go. So, full story. Of
the descendant of Long Leg Johnson.
Or Craig the Crate Master, who ended up going to culinary arts school.
We can't change
that. Look out.
That student
is he a prominent
specifically
citizen though,
for
or
maid
is he just
school.
Right. I kind of want to I don't. Oh man, prominent citizen. I don't know about Craig.
Do you want some help? I have that letter die I can roll to figure out like the name or where you want to start.
Ooh, yeah, do that.
I gotta find it though.
And then
I offer it up and I actually don't know where it is. I have it
Well,
somewhere. Give me a second. I'll find it.
Pick
a race
Michaels as
for
a
species.
placeholder.
Yeah, I guess while we're waiting, I can at least figure out where they moved to.
Yeah, and there's undefined area. You can create the area that they move to as part of the store, as part of the prompt. Like blank space doesn't mean that you have to. You can only use what we have there already.
Okay. Okay.
So like if you say they move to the rich part of town and then you create the rich part of town, that's fine. Or vice versa. You know what I mean?
I really like the idea of like this trying to turn into like a wealthy city center sort of thing. So that was horrible. Like around there. So maybe like they move. Maybe they're the governor, the mayor or something of the city, and they're like trying to present wealth through this central part of town. Because like if the mines are gone now and they're trying to get like tourism, right? If people are going to go to the restaurants, maybe at the docks, they got to go through that center of the city.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great. Cool. All right, so the mayor moves from okay, maybe it just says where do they go? So okay,
maybe
so
from the Umberlee, and now the Zentrum are like sweet, lower security, bodies in the ocean, etc.
Perfect. Okay, so the mayor moved to.
All right, I have it.
The center of town. Perfect.
Mayor McCheese.
First name starts with an A.
Okay.
Last name starts with an E.
An E. Ooh, you know what? I I know I said he as a mayor as being sexist. That's going to be a she.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Her first name is Asper, like Aspen, but with an R instead of an N. Asper. Eagle good. Eagle good. No, that's
Asper Eagle good.
No. Asper Elmwood.
Ooh, I
There you
like
go.
that.
Love it. All right. Eric, is it your turn?
Oh shit, it is. 1.
Nope, reroll.
Who got a 1 already? Chris?
That
That's
was
right. you
Chris's
did.
Chris.
All right,
double,
3 through 3 through
triple
3.
thing.
I took that question and ran with it.
Trey.
All right. Oh, what belief or practice unifies the community?
Ooh.
What belief or practice unifies the
Belief or
community?
practice.
And I know we said that town pride is an abundance.
Let's.
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea of having like some ties to nature or like some something relating back to nature. So I like the idea of maybe like every month on the full moon they have like a big bonfire, like a big like community gathering, and they just like hang out and celebrate and like not like worship anything in particular, but just kind of like have a big celebration. It's kind of like a communal gathering and a celebration of like, you know, something about something revolving around like nature, but also the community and like.
How about like every new moon or
Yeah, every full moon, but I just don't
full
know
moon?
why. Like, it doesn't have to be a reason, but
it
I
could
like
be
that
just
idea.
a community thing, right? Because they're proud of the town and they want everyone to get together and celebrate
the full
the
moon celebration.
All right.
Yeah, whatever.
And maybe like not you could tie it in like if it's a port town, maybe it was like a time of year where the ships would be coming in, right?
Hold
and so
on.
people
Yeah.
like annually sell, and it just turned into this tradition of like bringing home our family who's been out to sea. I don't know.
That's a great idea. Give me 1 second. I want to see if what the full moon has with the tides. Higher tides. So maybe it's a celebration of like ships coming home to dock, or like more
of the high tide.
High tide. Yeah. It's a celebration of the high tide and like people coming into the town to drop off goods, or like a celebration of a new influx of resources into the.
Well, it's everything, right? It's family members coming home. It's
exactly,
yeah.
The full tide celebration. That's what we'll call it.
Love it.
Perfect.
Dude, let's go.
And then the prom will be called Ebbing Tides.
I kind of like that too. Here, we'll put both.
So like, I don't know if you want to draw like a bonfire or you want to draw like.
Yeah, we'll do it like right here.
At the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Joe, go ahead and roll me.
3, 1.
Well, what's left?
5.
4.
4. Yeah, 4 and 5.
I got a 4.
All right. So this one. So we're gonna have one prompt left over.
Yep.
Because we already have a mayor. This one is the city elects its first speaker or mayor. Who is it and what is their platform? But since we already have a mayor, we can expand on that, or I can read you the other prompt. And if you like that one better, we can go with that.
What's the other prompt?
The other prompt is, what is the most beautiful thing in the area, or what is the most hideous?
Ooh.
That's good.
I do like that.
Well, obviously,
but it's Joe's choice.
Rokas is the most beautiful thing in the area.
I want to go with the other prop, but I want everyone to help. I don't necessarily have an idea for what, but I like that idea.
What's
beauty? What's the prettiest or the hideous? Or if you're open, Brad, maybe we can do both. Maybe we can.
Yeah, I mean, if we want.
What? I think like the hideous is like going to be the slums.
Beautiful to some people and most hideous to others.
True.
Or we combine it all, and it's actually the mayor herself is the most beautiful thing, and her platform was "How beautiful am I?"
So which is
No.
Maybe. Oh no, I want to create something new though. Let's say maybe the tower is really beautiful, but maybe we create something new.
Maybe just
We-
like the nature around the town is like just particularly
just
beautiful.
the scenery is
Yeah,
is
like
beautiful.
the mountains
I like
are
that.
beautiful. The sun.
It's
Yeah,
like
the woods
Pacific-
outside of
beautiful
town are
off the-
gorgeous, and there's
yeah.
a gorgeous sunset or something, you know.
Yeah, it's like
or
Alaska,
how
like
about
somewhere in
yeah,
Alaska.
like it's known for the sun setting, the twilight time of day, because it
Mhm.
reflects off the water and the mountains. Like it just creates this sort of
I love that.
very
Yeah.
cool, unique situation.
We could, with that, I mean, the hideous, if we want to stick with like, I don't know, again, it's your choice. We could also say like the weather is like, can be horrific here, you know, like high tides, hurricane.
I
Like,
was
Well,
thinking
so in
the
that
weather would
same-
be like like for where it is in the world, it's actually really nice.
oh, okay.
You know, it's almost like how Alaska and England have the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like England is quite temperate, whereas Alaska is very cold. Like maybe it's something like that where it's, you know, the
Okay, for hideous, I'm thinking, is it all like is it like the sea off of the like the water there, right? That's kind of what we're like ships
Yeah.
are coming in and out.
Yeah.
Maybe within viewing distance of the town there is a shipwreck that no one ever cleaned up, and it's like just
That's
because
awesome.
It's so
I like that a lot.
Great.
That's really
yeah.
cool.
So yeah. So if you want to draw like a sun for like the beautiful, and then shipwreck for the hideous, that'd be great. Do both.
And that could kind of explain the like active worship or looking to Umberly, right? Like this is almost like a daily reminder that like
Oh, even
Yeah.
better. Gosh, damn it, this is great.
Yeah.
and so maybe it wasn't
Not to
cleaned up
mention
for
maybe-
a reason. It was like this is to remind you that like we are at the mercy of the sea or something like, you know,
Yeah.
like
Mhm. Exactly.
But it's an eyesore
Like
for sure.
Umberly is like actively almost guarding that shipwreck. So if you try and plunder from it, you're gonna piss her off.
yeah.
Well, and
Or at
I
least
think
that's what
I
people
think
say.
that's what,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what people believe, right? Like, you don't fuck with that shipwreck.
Yeah.
And that's a
Mhm.
cool like side mission situation. Like maybe like, hey, there's rumors there's gold in
Oh,
the shipwreck, right? Or there's
quick question. I
treasure
think
or
this makes sense too. This is like incorrect north, south, west, east orientation, right?
that's how I was picturing it.
So the sun
Yeah.
sunset would be on the opposite side,
Sunset would be over here.
right?
It would be on the water side.
Yeah.
I can redo that.
Oh wait, did you already put it somewhere and it's wrong?
Yeah, you,
I studied the Bible, not
Oh my
geography.
God.
And that's all we're gonna say about that.
This is really
Here?
frustrating. I can't scroll up. There. Well, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Nice.
cool.
And don't forget your shipwreck. Brilliant idea, by the way. That was fantastic.
yeah.
Cool,
like
yeah, I
that.
thought that was kind of fun. And haunting. Brown back. That's fine. It's kind of like an orange.
I
Nice.
love it. Perfect. I like how you labeled the sun.
Yeah, just in case you didn't know what I meant.
Sorry.
The most common drawing of something.
I thought you were just giving him a face.
Oh no, yeah, scroll up. I wrote sun.
Yeah, I saw really quickly. Yeah, but if you go like this, it does look like he's kind of just like, meh.
Totally does. I did put a face under the ship.
Yes, I saw that too.
We're sad.
I have to move it though, because we're in the north, so the sun would be to the south.
Oh,
My gosh. Okay, raise your hand. With compass. Oh, it's only
What?
Chris raising his hand.
Raise your hand if what?
If you grew up with a compass.
I've looked at a
Um,
map.
so
Mine had two directions, heaven and hell.
all right, y'all.
Love
Are
it.
you ready? So
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
the era event which is something we're gonna see how it happened together. But it's really funny because this prompt was written before we started this.
Oh boy.
The city has experienced the town a massive influx of people. An addition to the town has been made. Decide together what that area will be. So we were all talking about, fine dining, town pride, wanting to build up the community, and that's exactly what the prompt was. Basically, that.
Love that.
Yeah.
So there was an actual expansion to the town. So I don't know if we want to represent that in like an area where a bunch of like inns are put in.
But then
like
we have a scarcity of lodging, though.
Yeah,
Well,
scarcity of lodging.
We do,
So-
but this era event. Oh, you know what? That could still be the. I was gonna say it changes things a little bit, but
Yeah.
Well,
What if-
we could also have like not enough in space for all the influx of people coming in.
Yeah.
And we could also
Yeah.
say like the new thing is there's a a market that's come near
Or
the waterfront or something.
what if we say
Okay.
they're starting to build new inns and residents, but they haven't finished yet?
Yeah, that could be happening, groundbreaking, right?
Yeah,
As
yeah.
we-
So yeah, we're gonna say
Yeah.
that.
Interesting.
So the funny part is because I think most people probably travel into, if they're not coming by ship, into the east side
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
or the
that makes
south.
sense.
I mean,
or the
south
south,
is
but
water deep and south is
based on the road, I was just thinking maybe they're starting to build, but over here, but because of undo. But because of the eyesore that is the abandoned urban
Oh.
houses, it's not going great. Like people don't
Yeah.
like. Maybe this is where most people live, so they're starting to like try and build.
Yeah.
they're trying
yeah.
to gentrify the
Yeah.
slums, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Slowly. They're not quite there yet.
Yeah, the Zentrum might not love that because I think they love their area that people don't go into.
They find out they don't have the right zoning permits the day they go to break ground.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Did I just mess it up?
I love this
Alright.
town.
I already give Brad inspiration.
Oh, 100%.
For
He's
this
maxed
is, like,
out
really
at
fun.
DM inspiration. This is a really
Yeah.
cool thing.
I'm just gonna put, because it's supposed to be just symbols and drawings, but it's an adaptation of an adaptation already.
Yeah,
True.
no notes help. I think
So-
it makes sense.
Can someone help me move that unpopular lodging not finished to put under those little houses? Yeah, thank you. All right. So now that we've got an influx of people, so keep that in mind too, we're going to roll for more prompts, second set of prompts. And we started to create more lodging that is unpopular and not finished. So I'm going to roll the next set of prompts. I got a 6. Ooh, this has got to be a collaboration because this is really fitting with what we've done already. Name a bar or restaurant of recognition. Why is it so? And who hangs out there?
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Fuck yeah.
So
I mean, we got to throw the word clam in there just because we
The dirty
already
trout.
like clams.
yeah,
I was
it's got to
thinking
be
like-
fish. So it's got to be fish related.
Happy
I
clams.
want to put it near the docks, but what I want to more, I'm not the most culinary type person. Why is it of recognition and who hangs out there? Is up for kind of discussion.
I've had in my mind that like maybe where they are this part of the water, like they have a famous type of fish or maybe a type of crab or lobster that is
delicacy,
only
yeah.
that's like only for this region. So like,
I like that
now
idea.
they have a restaurant that's based off of like whatever, and I guess we would have to
Ooh.
figure out
The
what that
blue
thing
crabs?
is.
Giant
Like
king
like
crab.
blue crabs or something, or like a
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
the
yeah.
colors what kind of
Are blue
They stick
crabs
up.
more south? I don't know.
This is fantasy. We can do whatever
So
we
this is a
want.
fantasy
Yeah.
world where the sun can
Hey.
set on the other side of the map.
Giant.
Purple
How
crab.
about giant blue crabs.
Ooh.
Giant blue crabs.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm looking
So,
up.
like,
I'm
the
looking up.
crab
I'm
legs
looking up
are
sea
like the
creatures.
size
Hold
of
on.
your
Hold on.
arm.
Hold on.
I think it should be something
Ooh, that's-
horrifically dangerous to catch.
That's what I'm
but,
saying. Like a giant crab.
like an
Like-
actual giant. Yeah.
Like an actual giant crab. Like the pinchers could like chop your head off, man.
Yeah, maybe like the Dark Souls, Elden Ring crabs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, humongous.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what like mutated giant insanity, but like amazing to eat.
Hold on 1 second. I'm looking stuff up.
Very good.
Hold on. This is hard. To do.
So the first thing I found here that's kind of fun are aquatic oozes.
No one wants to eat that.
Well, that's the point, though. It's like the Fuji fish, you know, like it's like
Oh, yeah,
it's like
maybe.
deadly to eat. We found a way to like cook it just right so that's not it's not fatal, but it gives you like that, you know.
So I drew a
So,
Like,
crab.
but,
could be-
but
could
maybe
be
it's
super
maybe
dangerous.
it's blue crabs with an ooze foam.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like, and maybe if it's kind of poisonous, maybe it's like it almost kind of like gets you in its own way, like a little drunk or something, you know, or like
Oh,
affected,
yeah,
like it
that.
makes you really happy, or it's like an aphrodisiac, or like something like that. Like, you know how
Mm-hmm.
I think people say like what are like oysters they say are
Yeah, yeah.
aphrodisiac or whatever.
I think you
Right.
should also roll a D1000 every time you eat one, and if you roll a 1, you die.
It's
There's
like the
a little bit
Oh,
of a
Or just a
no.
D100, honestly.
You have to go see
What
JD's
is
character.
that?
The doc-
wild, yeah, it's a wild magic table just for food.
Oh man.
They have a lot of like normal stuff in here.
Nope, that doesn't.
Narwhal.
What is a color of crab that doesn't exist in the real world? Right?
So I thought purple at first.
I'm
Purple
sure they
crab.
probably exist.
It'd be something weird like yellow.
Ooh,
Aw.
I'm looking at Chris's background. What if they're like not really fire crabs, but they have this like
Ooh.
iridescent, like kind of
Mm.
multicolored shell, like the flames behind him or something. So people
Hey.
like to call them the fire crabs or something.
So there's a type,
Yeah.
there's a
That
type
sounds
of
like something else.
there's a type of fish that's found in the sea of moving ice called the Queen's knife.
Okay.
And
All
that
right.
apparently
You got my
is in
interest.
this, and it's apparently exists in this Neverwinter Storm King's Thunder. So it does have like some reference to it.
All right, so
Love it.
Queen.
The Queen's knife.
One thing before we make this official too, I kind of do love the idea of two like competing bars on the north side and the south side.
No, that doesn't look like anything.
Well, let's.
I actually kind of liked it, Brian.
Is
Oh,
the Queen's knife the name of the fish?
The Queen's knife is the name of the fish, yes.
Okay, we need to come up with a restaurant and then use synonyms for the competing restaurant. So, what
Oh my
restaurant?
god.
What restaurant serves the Queen's knife?
The Royal Cleaver. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of I actually kind of like
Yes.
that. Oh, well, yeah.
Royal. And then now let's do the oh, there's a positioning thing.
Now, is this the good one or is this the bad? Like, is it the good side or the bad side that we want this one on?
This is the
Ain't
good.
to me.
Well, okay. Actually, that's the question is I think that what the next part of the prompt will answer that question. Who hangs out there?
So I kind of like the idea of the Royal Cleaver being part of the Zentarim network because it is kind of talking about like cutting the royalty.
Oh yeah, it's got a little bit of.
I kind of like that being on the Zentarim side and that being like maybe one of their fronts, right? It's like a successful front. Like it was started up as a money laundering scheme, but then they actually got somebody in there who's actually a really good cook and just happened to just like take off, and now it's actually a successful business, but it also is a money laundering front for the Zentarim.
Yeah, I think that's
So the Royal
very cool.
Cleaver is the restaurant that the Zents use as a front /
Yeah.
Do we want to move that towards the Zentarim side of things, or we want to leave it on the other side?
Yeah, we should. Sorry. Can I actually move it?
I think you can just drag it. Yeah.
Oh,
if you
okay,
select
drag
it.
it all. Can I do it? I did it. I can do it.
Yeah. The Royal Cleaver.
It's awesome.
That's so sick.
All right. Dope. All right. So that was my prompt.
Wow. Oh wait,
Um,
don't we have to pick out the other one? too?
But there's a competing restaurant, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
we can. Do you want to do that right now?
let me read the other ones just in case there's
All right.
something that would kind of like. Do that.
Oh right.
Just think about it in the back of your heads though, as we're moving.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I mean, we can. Yeah, just think about it in the back of your head because some of these prompts might.
I will real quick. I just found another one. The Torchlight Loose Jaw is another type of creature found in the Sea of Moving Ice.
It's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, Chris,
Roll a die.
roll a die.
4.
All right. We're gonna skip this one because it is. Where is the seedy underbelly of the town? What crime sustains them? So
Yeah,
we've got this
we've
on
already
our
been
own.
there.
We
Been there,
already
done
know
that.
it.
Been there, done that.
All right. Roll again.
2.
All right. A group explores the town more thoroughly and finds something that has previously been overlooked. What is it? And let's not let it have it be the Zenerim.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So how about like a so we had the Zenerim in the mines, and they were actually exploiting resources that were thought to be, maybe the copper is dried up, but maybe there's something else in there.
Mhm.
That's so I'm thinking maybe like one of the other factions has discovered that there is something valuable still to be had in the mines.
Ooh.
And like maybe even they know the Zentrum are exploiting it without sharing it with the town. Like they're just exporting it for their
I
own
like that.
profits. So there's some conflict in
So
our
yeah,
populated
pick
town.
if you want it to be the Lord's Alliance or the Order of the Gauntlet or the Emerald Conclave or even the Harpers, because the Zentrum and Harpers are pretty opposing.
Which faction are you again? The Gauntlet one?
Joe's
Joe?
gonna do
the
Order of the Gauntlets.
I mean, I know you don't want to tie it to our characters too much, but that could be a reason why I came to town.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
geez.
yeah.
I will
also
also
pick
say too.
Pick what they discover too.
I was gonna say if it has a gem related affinity, then that would also give me a connection as well.
Yeah.
So,
okay. What
rare
is
gems.
the gem? Let's pick a like specific gem.
Go
Maybe
for it.
something
Is
that's
there
got a magical tie to it, or
Yeah,
maybe it's
that's where I'm going with this. Is there a gem that somehow has a tie to the like realms where like Asmodeus would be, right? Like somehow that
Oh shit!
specifically they chose a tiefling paladin to go.
I love it.
Oh man, I'm sure there is. Like, so you're looking for an infernal inspired gem.
Yes, exactly.
I was gonna say Heart of the Ocean to make a joke, but that's way better.
I'm always down for a Titanic joke.
There's something called an inert infernal gem in Baldur's Gate 3, apparently. But I don't know what it does.
Imprisoned infernal spirit? What?
Infernal diamond?
Tell me more. Tell me more. What's an infernal
Tell me
diamond?
more. Tell me more.
It's also in Baldur's Gate.
Well, we can
Spoiler
borrow.
alert.
I mean, we can homebrew something.
So an
Pick
infernal
it, and then
diamond.
you will homebrew it if needed.
And
Yeah.
Baldur's
Infernal
Gate is in the
diamond
Forgotten
in
Realms.
Baldur's Gate. It is. It's used to as a component in going to the
Hell,
House of Hope.
right? Yeah.
Yes. So infernal
yeah.
diamond is what's discovered.
Yeah, I think I like that.
I
Right.
think I like it too.
Let's
And
make that canon.
Yeah.
That's a powerful item. I like that.
And then we can talk about like we'll decide like quantity and stuff like that later. But
Yeah.
all right, cool. So that's awesome. All right.
That's super cool.
Who's next? JD?
Me, yeah.
Eric? JD?
Yeah. Also, randomly, I know I made the joke about the bear thing. She's beautiful. I kind of am feeling like the Zentrum are on the rise. Maybe there's like a like a Harvey Dent situation going on, right? Where she's like trying to like crusade, and that would bring in the gauntlets and kind of tie it all together. You know, like it's becoming an almost like an out in the streets battle.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
politics
dude.
or something. So I'm really thinking like
Okay.
Batman. Like I don't know why, but I'm just getting Batman vibes when I'm thinking about it. You know, like how it's
mean,
so
no, that's-
obvious that there's the crime network, but like everyone's hands are tied because like everyone's in someone's pocket, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I rolled a 4.
Reroll.
Okay.
That was the seedy underbelly one.
I rolled 4 again. 3.
Oh, okay. Ooh. A natural disaster hits the town. What was it, and what does it destroy?
Oh.
Fuck.
You could go a couple ways with this, I
Yeah,
think.
there's a lot of ways you go with this.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of like, does this give us more reason for the Dwarven district too? Like they've just been pummeled. Or shoot.
I could think of a couple. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it makes sense to say, I don't know what if you, yeah, we can talk. It almost makes too much sense for it to be like water related to me, but like if they're kind of building up the docks and stuff, I feel like it has to be somewhere else. I don't know.
We could
Unless,
say that
like-
maybe someone pissed off Umberly too.
Well,
It's kind of what I was thinking. Like maybe she froze the water for like 6 months or something, like starved out the town. I
Or
guess
just
there's
a tidal wave comes
science.
through and punishes
Yeah.
people, or some group, some faction.
well, I'm thinking about like, what does it destroy? It can be something related to that, but it also could be like, the mine. After we've established what's in the mines, the mine collapses, or maybe the center of
Ooh,
town
it shuts
statue-
down production or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the statue. You know, they tried to make that the hub of the town, and the
There's a
statue
sinkhole.
collapses.
Yeah.
Like a
Oh
sinkhole.
yeah.
Or the tower, the watchtower, which is really cool and potentially useful. Yeah, like crumbles or something. Like we have established structures that I think would be interesting to kind of explore. That
Yeah.
could.
So invested in them though, you can't break them.
Well, the mine I think would be an interesting one, just because we say, okay, it was washed up, and then the Zentrum are using it, but then the
There's a cave collapse or
the
something.
OGs
or
found
whatever.
it, and we're like, oh my gosh, there's infernal diamonds in there, and the Zentrum have been using them, and then it collapses, like, and then there's a whole thing there. So I think that might be interesting, but
God, that's so triggering for Lucy.
Yeah.
right.
I do like that because I feel like as one that creates more of this story of what we're talking about, that makes more sense than like a wave. I mean, I guess maybe not more sense because like, yeah, if they're really scared of Umberly, then like a sea accident where like all the ships were destroyed in the docks or something. But like I do like the collapsed. I don't know where, because that could be one too. Like the docks were made inoperable for a
there we
while
go.
too. You know, like
Mhm.
everything just
Yeah.
got destroyed. And they had to focus all their efforts on rebuilding or something. I don't know. I'm kind of between those two. So like, what do you guys think? What would be better, or what would you like to see?
Kraken destroys the trading ships.
Ooh, a Kraken
That
attack.
actually could work.
That's
Yeah.
kind of fun.
The
That's kinda
natural
fun.
disaster.
I like it. And then, and if we're talking about all the factions, even the ones that we haven't placed yet, like maybe the Emerald Grove. Like some people see it as Umberly, and they're like, I guess I'm bringing modernization into it, but like, well, we have to keep a proper balance between our like commercial and our natural resources, right? And like,
Yeah.
so
I
they
was
see
also
it more as
thinking
like a wrath
too,
of nature, but some people think it was Umberly. So like,
maybe whatever this disaster is, if it hinders the trade with the ships, it increases tensions between the OGs and the Zentarim, because now they're stuck there too. They can't even get out, or they can't even like
yeah.
that could be like increasing tensions in the
Interesting.
city. So
And why
things
there
are
are
like
more
a boiling
people in the
point, you know?
lodgings, or like why
Yeah,
lodgings is short because- Okay, yeah, I like. I don't know.
Alright.
Maybe Kraken attack. Yeah, like a Kraken attack.
I like that.
And
Perfect.
destroyed like a bunch of ships and the docks and stuff like
That
that. Maybe
could've-
not.
The
Okay.
Kraken attack could have led to that broken ship that we
That's
see
kind-
on
yeah.
the. And maybe instead of a broken ship, it's actually like it could be referred to as a ship graveyard.
I don't know. I kind of
Like
like the idea of it being a little bit more of a legacy thing. What do you think?
That one ship.
That one ship is like
maybe
a.
one.
All right.
Ship,
Yeah. Cool.
And then maybe the
This is a more
Kraken attack.
recent attack. Yeah.
Oh,
Cool,
and then the
cool.
statue, whoever the person is, maybe the legend is that like
He was a
it's
Kraken.
their ship. That one ship was like this person's ship, and they were like people gave up hope, kind of like a colony, but then that person like persevered and like
Oh
grew
my
the town.
All right, JD.
I just got goosebumps.
You gotta name him. Name
Okay,
him.
I gotta think about the name. Okay.
Should I do it again?
Yeah, give me the letters and we can keep talking about other
Okay.
things.
All right.
Yeah.
First name starts with a W.
Okay.
Last name with a T. You can simmer on it too. Don't feel
Oh,
like
sorry.
a second.
Oh, I thought I'm gonna go with
WT.
WTF.
I mean, yeah.
Oh man, I just had the last name too. It really it was in my head, and then as soon as I typed it, went out. It's gonna be Willem, Willem.
Love it.
Tuffo.
Yeah.
Tuffo.
Thornberry.
Tuffo. Yeah, give me a minute because I gotta think if I can.
That's fine. Draw your Kraken.
I go. I got it. Templeton. Willem Templeton.
Well,
All right, that's the statue. That's the legend.
Statue
Perfect.
of Willem Templeton.
Not a
the
real
ship
person.
got destroyed by a Kraken, and he said, "Fuck it, we're making a city, guys."
I thought of Shackleton and exploring, and so
Perfect. So yeah, draw yourself a Kraken,
I'm working on it. I'm picking a different
and then
color.
while you're doing that, Eric, is it your turn?
I guess it is. Yeah.
So you got a 1 or a
Shit.
5. 1 or 5.
5.
All right, I'm excited for Joe to get 1 to see if he thinks what I'm thinking. But
Cool.
5, and let's turn this a little happy. A heartwarming story captures the entire town's conscious. What is it, and what changes?
The
A
love story of
heartwarming story.
And not about Willem Templeton.
the heartwarming story of a
I'm gonna say that there was a story of some small child getting lost in the forest in the woods to the east of the city.
Yeah.
And there was like a lot of not panic. There's like a small tension in the town about this person going missing. Let's say it was a family that was either well liked or well known or had high renown, and it was kind of considered a travesty or a disaster. And after many days of fretting, some members of the Emerald Conclave came out from the forest and had the kid with them, and the kid had something crazy happen to the kid. Like there's some epic story about their tale of going out into the woods and doing something that was well beyond their years. And then the Emerald Conclave found them and escorted them back to the city.
Yeah, perfect.
Cool.
So symbolize that maybe in the woods or something. But yeah, that
Love
is
it.
perfect.
Oh shoot!
All right.
Give me
Our
my
last prompt. Sorry, go ahead.
pen. No, you're good. You're good.
All right. So our last prompt, Joe, is for Joe because we already canceled that one, so no need to roll. Kind of like in fantasy football draft, you don't have to pick.
Yeah, that's right.
See what you get.
Oh man.
And I think okay, the local youths get into a new activity.
Fight Club.
What is
Oh
it?
my
Does a
god!
business get established to keep it going?
I mean, Fight Club is the obvious. Of course,
A
the
child
youths are-
fighting ring.
Joe,
This is the kids,
No.
and I'm thinking,
Joe,
What's the word? Elmo?
Joe.
I know that.
Elmo.
Elmo.
Joe. What if there was a new game that was taking them by storm, discovered by the North?
How
Oh,
about within the realm of D&D, they play like
Pinecone.
D&D except where everyone's on Earth. It's like going to jobs.
Oh,
Career.
It's called like it's not Dungeons and Dragons. It's like
skyscrapers and bosses.
desks and
yeah,
donuts.
I was gonna say mortgages and
Desks
taxes.
and donuts. Yep.
Desks and donuts.
Joe, I thought you would jump at Pinecone as
Yeah, man.
as the thing.
That is fucking funny. I do love the idea of Pinecone.
It's just pine cone tournaments everywhere in the
Straight
city.
up. But it's what is it here? Seashells?
It's the same world.
Could be the same
We're
thing.
in the same
Yeah.
area.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Could
But
have come through and
so
talked
again,
to them.
so it's kind of cool because you can pick it, and then does a business get established to keep it going? So we can also add a business venture in the town that would help sustain this, like someone that made pinecone bats or something like that.
Well, so yeah, if we're okay, kind
If
of
that's the thing.
one of the things that crosses over, there can be like Pee-wee pinecone leagues, right? Like
Pee-wee
kids
pinecone.
go out and we've got a little pinecone field, and yeah, it could be a whole thing.
Why don't you? I think you could even depict that as like a small like diamond, like baseball diamond.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying to think how you could do
we
like a
could put it where
fantasy.
the trees are that Chris drew, or we could do it somewhere else.
That's true.
Like right outside of town.
Well,
below
like this is
yeah,
the
where-
nicer part of town on the other side, right?
Oh, true. Yeah.
Put it to the south.
just like over here.
You know those yuppies have money for a pine cone diamond.
100%.
Mhm.
I was trying to think of like a way you could do like fantasy pogs. That'd be really funny.
Fancy pogs.
Oh, like maybe you can get a little kit and it comes with like a kid's version of Mage Hand, and you have to like flip the pogs with the
Maybe
Mage
that'd be
Hands.
funny. That'd be funny.
Oh man. I think that's a really fun way to bookend it, like
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
shared universe.
Perfect. All right. So now the last thing, I have two things. The last thing is, what is this town's name?
Yeah.
Man, what a question.
Coppertone.
Templetonville?
Yeah, I know.
I was just thinking about his name. Yeah.
That's an interesting. And is William Templeton a human?
Oh, I don't know.
Temple's Landing.
Mm.
Ooh.
I like Temple's Landing.
Any objections? Any other?
I like it.
Sorry, it didn't actually come up. Let's make that other rival restaurant real quick.
The Torchlight Loose Jaw is the name of the deep sea fish that is a delicacy.
Torchlight?
Wait, what was it again?
Torchlight
Torchlight?
Loose Jaw is the name of the
So-
creature.
The torch? The
I mean, Torchlight Inn would be a great name just for like a.
right.
That's easy, like right there in the name. But we could
Right.
also do the same thing like we did with the other one, where we think of like, synonyms
Candlelight.
for.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the spell? The cantrip? Is it Dancing Lights?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Is there
Ooh.
play there with Dancing Torchlight or Dancing Torches or
The dancing torchlight.
the Dancing Torch? Like
I like the dancing torch.
Sure.
Even if it's not the restaurant, like that could be the name of an inn or something. The dancing. Torch.
Yeah. It's got a fun.
I like the dancing torch. I think that sounds pretty baller for a restaurant.
So the
Okay.
dancing torch, and then just what do you want to draw? Fish?
I'll draw this little fucking like lampier looking thing.
I put the name in the water over there. If you want to just put it over in the water.
The restaurant?
No. Oh, I was talking about the fish. Oh, that's right. You're gonna do the actual. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I'm also envisioning, I don't know the name of it, but like on the docks, like an old orc who's like sort of depressed, who has like a little stand, like a clam stand or something. Who's
Bork
just
the
like,
orc.
yeah,
Bork
like he's
the
just
orc.
like slinging clams, and he doesn't do a lot of business. He's kind of sad, you know.
Does this say Torchlight Loose Jaw?
That's the name of the fish.
That's the name of the fish. Yes.
Oh, I was like,
Yeah.
that's not what we said, is it? Okay.
That's the name of the fish. That's how we kind of came up with the dancing torch.
Got it. Okay.
That's pretty good. We'll keep it at that.
All right.
What do we call it? The dancing torch?
Yeah.
Dancing torch.
Oh God. I'm just gonna write it. All right, keep talking as you were.
So that is Temple's Landing.
Dude,
That was
bravo. It's a very fun thing.
So when you're done writing, I have a quick little thing to say, but I want to make sure I have all your attention.
Okay.
I'm glad you like this town because it just got destroyed.
Right. Giant attack. Nope.
Cool.
So if we're viewing Temple's Landing from above, you'll see the dilapidated old dwarven area. You'll see the fighting pit. You'll see the statue of Templeton and the tower as you're kind of panning through. See the establishment of the Royal Cleaver and the dancing torch down through the docks. And then you see all of the citizens, or a lot of the citizens, start looking towards the water. And there's clouds rolling in. Unnatural, possibly bright lightning, unnatural loud thunder. And one of the kids turns to his mom, goes, Mommy, that cloud kind of looks like a giant. And then all of a sudden it goes black. And then what you see is a figure shoot up from their bed in a cold sweat with a panic on their face. They get up, they go over to what looks like a desk, start shuffling papers and maps. And all you hear is them mumbling to themselves something about the ordning, maybe about a town, and that they must find a particular group of small folk.
Damn.
Okay.
That's where we're ending.
Okay. Very nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
And we're not starting right now, or
Roll initiative.
So rolling it now.
All right.
I just
guys,
had a silly thought for tourism. We could say there are people like squatching for a type of giant, that one of the rare types of giants. Like they come here to like go
Like
Sasquatching.
There's a bunch of birders, except they
I
look
kind
for
of love
giants.
that.
Yeah.
It's like the Loch Ness monster.
I heard there's a stone giant in them caves.
All right. That was awesome. That was so much fun.
That's awesome.
Dude,
I'm
absolutely.
glad it went well. I was not sure
This is sick.
how the town building would go, but it was great. Good job, everybody.
Yeah, that was fun.
Good job, you.
Good
All
job,
right.
you.
Anything else we want to put on here before we stop the recording?
Nope. We'll. I'm looking forward to session 1.
Hell yeah.
Starting out.
Thinking next week. That?
We'll figure it out.
Yes, we will see.
TBD, but thank you for putting this together.
Yeah, lots of fun,
Yeah.
Brad.
Yeah,
Excited to get
for
this
sure.
started.
Really cool.
Absolutely. All
We
right.
will start session 1 in Temple's Landing.
All right. Until then.